we have to open this episode by talking about, obviously, the thing on everybody's mind, one of the most egregious, hard to watch scenes we've ever seen on TV, just absolute disaster meltdown. We have to talk about Huda melting down on Jeremiah live in front of America.
Listen, Hurricane Huda that's category 5.
Huda. Why would I care? Who the hell is Huda? What the hell is a Huda?
No, I'm kidding. We have to talk about the second most embarrassing thing that happened on TV this week. We have to talk about the Thunder losing Game 6 by, I don't know what the final score is because we're recording this with like 10 seconds left in the game because we stopped watching with a few minutes left to go to start recording to give you guys a live reaction. Because, man, the Pacers are forced to Game 7 in the most dramatic way possible by beating the hell out of the Thunder. We're going to talk about that at length, give you guys our raw reactions to it as the game just ended, preview Game 7, talk about everything that comes with, a Game 7 in the finals. Doesn't happen a lot. Then after that, as you guys see by the title, we're going to put the last 20 NBA Finals teams into a tier list. So basically from every year from 2016 through now, including the Pacers and Thunder, we're going to rank them, see how these two teams, after forcing Game 7, stack up against the rest of the teams across modern history.
Facts. Big facts.
Lots to talk about. Let's just get straight into it.
Let's go.
The cranium is crazy. Oh my god.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters rejoice.
So like we said, we'll start off with a reaction to Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Indiana ended up winning 108-91. The only word to describe this game is embarrassing.
Yes.
Last episode, I think we came in here after the Pacers took the 2-1 lead, won Game 3, and my main takeaway was I just respect the hell out of the Pacers. They just simply won the game, beat OKC on both ends. It was completely, we're better than you on this night. You gave us a good punch, but our punch was better. And I was hesitant to slander OKC on that time because I wanted to focus on the Pacers just being way better than anybody thought, deserving of the respect, deserving of the praise, not to focus too much on the team. It was their night. Tonight's not that night. This is all about OKC being pathetic tonight. This was such a terrible performance.
That is the word that I was going to use. It's pathetic because I'm mad for so many reasons.
Yeah.
Multiple reasons. And guess what? I'm going to list them off. Yeah. Number one, I came in on last week's episode and I said that the Game 3 loss was pathetic. I was wrong. Game 6, this was pathetic. Yeah. So you made me wrong in the span of a week. That's one. 2, I do have a future on the Oklahoma City Thunder that I was banking on cashing in tonight.
It was real money.
Guess what?
I couldn't tell you the amounts.
Guess what? That's not gonna happen. 3, I missed Love Island tonight. We 100% could have tapped into Love Island. New bombshells were coming in, and I did not get to watch
I heard Meg
it.
showed up.
Who?
Meg Thee Stallion. We haven't seen it yet, but
and I did not. and I did not
get. Stuff was a little too passionate, man.
I did not get to watch because the Oklahoma City Thunder were as not locked in as possibly could be, and all of their bad habits came to the forefront once again. And every single time that we say, "Oh, the Thunder, they've graduated, they passed this test, they've gotten the experience," they have continuously put themselves in those same positions and done the same thing over and over and over again. And I was like, listen, I think that the Thunder are the better team, and the Pacers are gonna have to show me. They're gonna have to win 3 games.
Yeah,
they've won 3.
they've showed you.
They have showed me, and this is on pace to be the worst hate watch in my life. Right now, the 2008 Celtics beating Kobe, that is the worst hate watch of my life. As a 9-year-old watching Kobe lose, I cried myself to sleep that night. It was terrible. If the Pacers win this series, that takes top spot. I'm so mad on all fronts because the Thunder had every opportunity to just play well and do simple things, and they were not able to do that tonight.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, when it comes to how everyone approached this series, it feels like the entirety of the NBA community, the NBA world was just straight up wrong. Like obviously we all up here picked the Oklahoma City Thunder to win this series. Me specifically, I said, I got OKC in 5. They just don't have many answers. You gave the Pacers way more grace than I did. Just like you, they had to prove it to me. They went ahead and proved it to me, not only like once, but twice after this game happened over here. And like you said, they faltered to all of the bad habits, like every single team, they naturally have like pain points and weaknesses. It's not like a youth thing or anything like that. One of the weaknesses from one of the greatest teams of all time, the Warriors, is like they just are prone to commit turnovers. OKC, they're just prone to not get buckets. It is what it is. You know, there's some things that
From 3 specifically.
yeah, exactly. Just some things
terrible problem
that hinder you as a team overall. And I guess to pinpoint, the biggest talking point of the night so far is obviously the best player on the entire series, Shai. This game tonight, he had his career season high in turnovers.
8.
8 is insane for someone like Shai, considering like he's someone who's never going to turn the ball over overly because he's not necessarily a high octane pass first type player at all.
And on top of that, he's also not only is he not like daring passing wise, he's one of the best ball protection guards we've seen. Like a big part of his value and why he can get away with not being one of the premier passers like a Luka or LeBron or whatever is because he protects the ball. He's incredibly tight handle. He has simple reads that he gets to his spots and doesn't put the ball in harm's way. So yeah, if that's gonna flip, it's gonna be a hard time. A lot to talk about here. One, I will say, the idea of them losing Game 6 when it's a closeout game, the Pacers back there against the wall. They're a very good team, and they're at home. Not shocking, right? It's not in and of itself surprising that this went to a Game 7. After they stole Game 1, the Pacers...
Now, I will say it kind of is considering
hold on, I'll get there.
Tyrese's injury.
I'll get there. It's not surprising on the surface that the Pacers won Game 6 and forced OKC to have to beat them at home. But to your point, Tyrese being injured, that blew it open. So we said, okay, so script would say Pacers win Game 6 at home and make OKC win at home. That makes sense. But if Tyrese is injured, you feel less good about that. And then on top of that, is it fine that they lost Game 6? Yes. The fashion in which you lost it, this just cannot feel good. On one hand, we have seen this almost exact script happen. They lost a similar closeout game against the Minnesota Timberwolves by fucking 40, came out, turned around, beat the hell out of them for the rest of the series, right? Actually, that wasn't a closeout game.
Yeah, that was Game 3.
Yeah, my bad. But they lost a game on the road to the Timberwolves where they got straight up dominated, came back, adjusted, beat the hell out of them. So we've seen that. And similarly, against the Nuggets, we saw a very similar script to this series when they lost Game 1 on a buzzer beater. And I think it's followed like exactly the same
basically.
Basically, yeah. And then they also lost Game 6 against the Nuggets, if I remember correctly. So we've seen these things before. I'm saying this to say I'm not panicking. I still, you feel good about OKC.
Yeah, haters, he's staying 10 toes down.
So say that out front. Before we get to slandering OKC, it makes sense they lost Game 6. I still feel fine about them winning Game 7 at home. They've only lost at home in the playoffs on buzzer beaters twice. So sure, that could happen again. They're not unbeatables, clearly. But that feels fine. But you cannot feel good about the nature in which this loss happened just because, like you said, so many of those bad habits were at their worst tonight. This offense was fucking atrocious.
And if somebody's just giving you win, loss, and like the order,
yeah,
you're like, okay, fine.
Makes sense, right?
The Indiana Pacers scored 108 points today. In any other game, you feel good about that. Like the Pacers are this team that you think about, it's like, wow, they play so fast. They play very high octane, right? They're scoring 115, 120, all that. For them to only score 108, and for the only player on their team to be Obi Toppin to score 20 points. And he was eating in regular time. He was getting buckets off in garbage time too, right? So it was such an all-around offensive attack from everybody else. And at halftime, right, you start talking. You say, okay, what number do you think it has to get to? Because they're down 22 at halftime. You say, can you get it to 15? I said 15. You said 12, right? And you start to get there.
By the end of the third, that is.
Yeah. But to start the half, both teams could not make a shot. And we said it to each other. Mike Breen said it on the broadcast. It's like, if there was ever a time that the Thunder were going to make a run to get back into this game, it's going to be coming out of half after you make adjustments, after you sit up in your chair. You see that they're clearly not playing around tonight. And they just couldn't do it. And for them, like, to have such bad offense in terms of Shai was going one-on-one, Jalen Williams was going one-on-one. It felt like anytime anybody other than Shai was making, and even Shai who had 8 turnovers. Yeah. But anytime the pass wasn't from me to you, it's going to be a turnover. Like Lou Dort had so many bad passes. Caruso had some bad passes, and you're just allowing TJ McConnell to get into the lane.
That's part of it too.
Yeah, McConnell went crazy. Tyrese Halliburton, who's playing with a strained left calf, he was able to get into passing lanes.
Yeah.
Chet, who all series,
He's been
Yo, man.
Offensively,
Disaster.
dog shit.
Yo, man. Like,
Offensively, let me drop
Please.
some gems on your head just for 2 seconds. Not gems, doo-doo clumps for 2 seconds.
please.
In 6 games so far, Chet has only hit 2 3-pointers. 2 singular 3-pointers. Singular. 2 3-pointers in the entire series. And he's been shooting on top of that like 37% from the field. Now, obviously, like,
atrocious.
he's a big naturally, but he's also like he takes a lot of jump shots. But still, like 37% from any level or position on the court is
Awful.
disgusting.
Awful.
It's disgusting.
Now, he has been great defensively. The past 3 games, the Pacers have had essentially no interior presence. They've been killing him from 3 when they won. So Chet is defending well, but the offense has been a fucking travesty. The amount of just missed easy dunks that he's had is comical. And also the amount of like his processing speed has been so bad on attacking when he's trying to do these face-ups that he gets an advantage but doesn't see it fast enough on the pass. And it's just been bad offense. But obviously, offense overall is the story of this game. The Thunder defense was fine for the most part. The Pacers shot really well and had some crazy magnet runs that they just went crazy from 3 and blew leads. But the Thunder defense overall, I think, did a decent job outside of that. The offense was just so bad. And the annoying part is we're saying the offense is bad as if the Thunder were defending themselves. The Pacers defended them in a very clear, a clear vision of what they want to do to counter the Thunder offense. And it's something that you normally don't want to do. They double team at the nail from 1 pass away every single time. Anytime Shea or J-Dub had isolation up top, they would double team them from the nearest wing and just harsh doubles on the nail, like I said, because they know that especially on the road in Indiana, this Thunder team will not, cannot, doesn't want to get up a high volume of threes. So normally you don't want to help off as a nail 1 pass away because it's the easiest read in the world, going to be a quick trigger 3. The Thunder refused to throw up quick trigger 3s, and the Pacers said, we're going to bet that happens again. You're not going to be able to get good drives on us, and we're going to force you to take those 3s, and they were not comfortable.
Yeah.
That is such a simple thing to get defeated by this bad. Like, that is so rudimentary to be just completely neutered by that simple nail defense. Like, shout out Rick Carlisle. That's a very smart thing to know. This team doesn't want to get up high volume 3s. We're going to, play mind games and give them easy ones that we know they don't feel good taking. I think Mark Dagnall will probably find some way to recover from that. But that's embarrassing that you go be such a big moment with such a simple adjustment.
And like it, like you said, and you said it while we were watching the game, is like the hesitation from all of these guys, like that aspect of it, and from start to finish, them mentally not being locked in, and like that they were going to have to overcome some type of adversity. This is their first time. You're trying to close out a game 6 on the road to win a title. Obviously, it's not going to be easy. Like I never expected them to go in here and win this game by 30, right? But when you see the opportunities that they're giving you to not be able to sit there and take it, like how many times did Lou Dort get the ball and do a pump fake and then 3 jab steps only to take another contested 3? Like,
it was just bad rhythm all night. Like, they never had a chance.
Those things were just not going down.
Yeah.
And shout out Ricardo, like I said, it was a good adjustment to defend him that way, and because he understood their bad tendencies. And it's not the end of the world. They can recover from that. We've seen them adjust to things of that nature over and over again. The interesting part to me is this is such a tale of 2 series. The games in Indiana and the games in OKC are so vastly different.
Yeah, there's only been 2 outlier games. Only 2.
Yeah. Even the ones that the other team snatched and to take game 1, and then was it game 5? The one where OKC won in Indiana?
Yeah, it was
game 4. Game 4, that is. Those games still felt like the other ones.
4.
They were just fuckery in the fourth quarter when Shea clutched up in game 4, and in game 1 when they had that meltdown and Halliburton game winner. But by and large, the games in Indiana and the games in OKC have been complete polar opposites. These 2 home court advantages are ridiculous. OKC cannot make threes in Indiana. These shooters are out of rhythm. It's loud in there. They're not comfortable. They're hesitating, like you said. Terrible. You get back to OKC, and Aaron Wiggins hits clutch 3s. Lou Dort, crazy magnet. And they look like OKC. And then Indiana, their defensive activity here to throw them off at home is insane. They feel this crowd. And I guess that's a reason to feel good about OKC because, it is that tale of 2 series and they have home court advantage. But I don't know, man. Game sevens are crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy how stark we see like OKC's Achilles heel just like be bleeding this much. It felt like, going back to what you said when it comes to how they decided to attack SGA, and just let him do his thing at the nail or whatever. It felt like they just constantly baited SGA into thinking like, oh yeah, you got it. But then last minute, someone like Bennett Mathurin or Aaron Neesmith or Nembhard is going to like stick a hand in there and really throw you off a game. And we're just going to show bodies when it's like least expected. And just like bodies are going to be shown. So it's that. And then also too, seeing how, again, this is just a natural weakness for SGA. Like no one's able to set anyone up on a consistent basis for easy looks, and if 100%. It is, it's fucking rare, you know.
Yeah, and 1,000%. They weren't ready for the late shows on the interior, like you said. They knew he wants to get to the mid-range jumpers and step back, and they helped really late. That threw him off his rhythm, and it's just like the lack of ball handling around these guys that if they're not gonna be able to set people up, it's a problem. And it's so annoying too because that was what happened the last Pacers win, and we praised Rick Carlisle's defense, and then they went back to OKC. And they seemingly fixed that last game. Like, they did a lot of smart stuff to not be so dependent on Shea iso ball. Obviously, that was headlined by Jalen Williams having the game of his career, so maybe that masked a lot. But I felt like they did a lot of stuff with Isaiah Hartenstein as a passing hub from the top of the key that, you know, it's just ways to get people cutting, get ways to moving off ball. All that disappeared this game. And maybe that's the Pacers. I haven't had time to go back and watch this game. Maybe they just did another off-ball adjustment that I haven't quite noticed yet to really slow that down. Maybe they just weren't able to get in the rhythm for that to go, and they default to the ISO game that was slow. But it just felt like all the progress they made back home in OKC is lost as soon as you step into Gamebridge.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys. What would y'all do to stop TJ McConnell? Because clearly TJ McConnell is coming out here just he's found rhythm in game 5. He found rhythm in this game, and for a team that we knew that Tyrese was limited and he was hurting, and honestly outside of the first like 2 to 3 minutes moved pretty well.
Yeah, he didn't look hurt really at all. He honestly, this is either his best or second best game of the finals.
Yeah, he had I think the first possession he made a drive, and then he came up and he was like winting a little bit, and then there was one possession early on where he tried to go by Chet and like the burst wasn't necessarily there. Outside of that, I feel like he was able to do normal Tyrese Halliburton things. Yeah, get rebounds, push the pace, have outlet passes, all that stuff. But the backcourt for Indiana, for Tyrese to play the way that he does, and then normally when Tyrese is not in the game, you can see Indiana's offense get a little bogged down. Yeah. Not if TJ's on the floor, because he's been able to get into the lane, to create paint touches, to get shots right for himself. Like, that's something where in game 7, I low-key am worried because it feels like TJ has found something that they can go back to.
I'm not worried about that in terms of game 7. He has had great stretches, obviously, where he's kept the bench units afloat. Overall, their defense has been fine, like we said. So I'm really only worried about offense. But if I was to say I'm worried about TJ McConnell, I said this during the game we were watching. Right now, that's happening because they're letting it happen. They're saying when McConnell's on the bench, you want to go more ISO heavy. Be my guest. We're gonna put a average defender on him, and he's gonna have to beat us one-on-one. He has. He's been getting buckets. It's been ridiculous. Yeah. But they're basically just like not helping off him and saying you're gonna beat us as a scorer. And if TJ McConnell's scoring daggers is what kills the best defense in the NBA, so fucking be it. They're living with that, and obviously he's making them pay because one-on-one. I think if they really wanted to eliminate him, they would just put Jada or put Caruso on him and say, strap him. We're putting a good defender on you. We're not letting it happen. Or they would, play aggressive, switch, double, do the things they do against Tyrese and whatnot. I think that's a good, philosophical question of if they should, because obviously it stings really bad when you see these runs of TJ going crazy. But I think overall in the net, I imagine those minutes don't have quite as high offensive rating since it's just TJ against the world. Yeah. We only remember the few minutes where he goes insane, but I'm sure there's other minutes where it kind of evens out.
But the thing where it starts to sting is that TJ McConnell he's just an injection of life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's the biggest reason why. He's the reason why the water never shuts off. Mm-hmm. He's doing all this shit, whether it be getting into the paint or getting crafty, nifty steals that you don't see coming. He's like a gnat, He's just he's 1,000 mosquitoes embodied into one person. You just don't see him coming out of nowhere, and he's always just there for no reason. And it's so unexpected too, and he's consistent as well, which is annoying. Mm-hmm. See how he's able to just consistently bend OKC's defense and quickly skate his way into the paint, just 2 feet away, a foot away from the rim. He's genuinely a nuisance. That's so annoying.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Mark Daigneault needs to respect him and defend him like he would any other great player.
Exactly. And like for everything that you're saying, if this was game 4, I'd be like, okay, it's fine, right? Because you think that you have 3 other games. This is one game. And so you see plenty of times like like the way that coaches call timeout and it happened here, after the stalemate where nobody could hit a shot, the Pacers got 1 bucket. And then Mark Daigneault was like, all right, timeout. Like, we're just not going to let them go on a run. They ended up going on a run, whatever.
Yeah.
But you try to manage these things in the moment, especially knowing that you are in a like 1 game sample size at this point.
Yeah.
And so in game 7, if anybody is going to go off, like it's either going to be obviously like TJ McConnell or Mathurin, and
Siakam. I mean, he didn't even have like a fantastic game.
Yeah, I'm saying more so like from the bench perspective.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And like I'm very curious to see how OKC operates there if either one of those 2 guys get going.
I think what's super important is how Indiana and OKC approach these second quarters, because in this game specifically, we saw the game was pretty much neck and neck.
Yeah.
Indiana did lead, but it wasn't by a wide margin. And we all felt like we were in for a good one until that second quarter happened. Shea was out of the game. And obviously when that happens, then it's like, oh shit, like how can you rely on any type of quality offensive looks without having someone who is like a Mysterio on offense and can know where everyone's at and put certain players in certain positions. They don't have that naturally. Just don't. And I think seeing how Indiana does and how they're able to just like make everyone dance and just keep the entire OKC defense guessing at all times while not having any answer offensively, it's super key for me to watch in this game 7, the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny just how stark it is when they're in OKC and Indiana. Like,
I have a resolution. Remember when Shea got his MVP award, he gave everyone rollies. Take them bitches back. Take the rollies back. And also
earn it.
Take his back too.
His rollies, he can keep his. He got MVP.
Back too. No, 8 turnovers is ridiculous.
Yeah,
put their paycheck on the line. Let's see what's going to really happen.
Yeah, like it's really just like the OKC offense. Like if this was a series where we hadn't seen this before, and this was like the first series OKC struggled. Let's say they snoozed their way through 3 rounds and they got here and this is the first time we're seeing these type of games. Panic meters would be everywhere. It would be holy shit. Momentum is on the Pacers side. Oh my God, are they going out sad? They're collapsing when they're up 3-2. But because we've seen multiple playoff series now of them being so starkly different on home and on the road and so up and down with these outlier games, it's just like you just gotta hope they don't do that.
Yeah,
they never do at home for the most part. Besides those 2 fourth quarters where they really shit themselves and the other team hit a game winner, with that being Aaron Gordon and Tyrese Halliburton, which is always possible. You can't rule that out. They do have the ability to shit themselves at home in the fourth quarter. So the Pacers can win game 7. So I'm not guaranteeing anything. But if you feel good if they take care of business and play the way they do 90% of the time at home, it's just so perplexing because when you have these games that are on the road and you know these outliers are consistent, but they are outliers because they're on the road, it's hard to talk about without sounding like you're coping.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say it does feel like the things kind of evened out because even if you look at game 4, afterwards you look at the box score and it's like OKC turned the ball over a ton. You go 3 for 16. How the hell did you win that game?
Yeah.
And then this game, same thing. You have a lot of turnovers. You cannot hit threes. And it's like, oh, this is actually what it's supposed to look like when you're on the road and you can't do those 2 things that are massive swing factors in the modern NBA. It's like if you turn the ball over and you can't hit threes, you're more often than not, you are not going to win those playoff games.
Yeah.
So this game, like, because of how it played out, I guess, like with their offense, you can kind of understand it a little bit more. But as Indiana, every single 3 that went down, and as you like started to realize, okay, yeah, they're gonna win this game, you just keep thinking about game 1, and it's like, damn it.
Yeah, see, the Thunder fans think about game 1. If Tyrese Halliburton's game-winning shot doesn't go in, series is over. And then Pacers fans say, if we don't choke, if Benedict Mathurin doesn't bet on the Pacers money line or the Thunder money line, and then if Shea doesn't go God mode for that fourth quarter, if he doesn't push off, then they win the series already. Like you said, it evens out. They both have 1 game they're kicking themselves over.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good point that the threes and the turnovers are really the swing factors. And, the common adage is role players shoot better at home. So not surprising that OKC shoots so differently because it's a team full of role players offensively and like subpar shooters offensively. Not shocking that they have this crazy home boost and on the road in a team so tough like this fucking Pacers crowd. Like, I guess it's not shocking they were cold, right?
Yeah.
The Pacers are really good at exposing that. That's fine. It's just this is the game that you get the worst version of that possible. The game before at Game 7, like it's like the worst case scenario of things that is understandable, you can kind of predict, but it still stings and you still have that in the back of your head, makes you feel not great.
Watch this happen in Game 7, because even though that Indiana has not been amazing on the road offensively, and like you said, role players shoot better at home. Watch Game 7 be the Miles Turner Magnet Ball game.
Hell no.
I'll be damned.
All I'm saying, the last 4 games for Miles Turner, 3 of 11, 3 for 10, 3 for 5, 1 for 9 tonight.
He's so ass.
The way that the Pacers have been able to just pull stuff out of nowhere. And there was a video online before the game started where the Pacers are warming up and Siakam like throws his head back and his eyes start like rolling back. And it's like him getting locked in, but everyone's like, see, there's that devil magic. The way that they're able to do it every single game, it would not shock me if we get to Game 7 and all of a sudden Miles Turner's like, oh yeah, I remember how to be a pick and pop big. I remember how to knock down threes. And he's the role player that ends up giving them, 15, 16. I don't know if they're gonna if they're gonna win or not.
He's been trashed for so long. I'm not expecting it.
I would not be shocked.
I will say
I won't be shocked if anything at this point. Nothing would shock me about this Pacers team.
The 2 biggest wins for the Indiana Pacers this game, outside of obviously like coming back home and taking this game back to OKC, is that you survived the Miles Turner massacre. He was so bad on all fronts of the game. He had like legitimately like probably one good possession where I think he like prevented someone like Chet getting backing him down to the rim or whatever. And then he blocked, I forget who it was.
Caruso.
Maybe Caruso. Yes. That was like one very good possession. But outside of that, he was bad in every single aspect of the game imaginable. He couldn't even clap right, bro. Like it was so bad with how the turnovers were, the consistent missed funky shots. Like there were easy passes where someone would be like cutting to the rim and he would just be like too prioritized, like not looking like a bitch in front of getting bitched by someone like Chet Holmgren. It's so bad all around. So it's like massive win for Pacers fans for surviving in that massacre. And then also too, Tyrese Halliburton only played 23 minutes on a
garbage time,
a 20. Yeah, he only played 23 minutes,
and that's great because
on a hobbled leg.
Because that's probably what you would have wanted to pull him at.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually had a minutes restriction. They said that there wasn't going to be a minutes restriction on him tonight, but obviously, if you are concerned about a potential re-injury, you wouldn't want to play him 40 minutes going into a Game 7. And so now you have a couple days off going into this last game. And again, seeing the way that he moved for the last 45 minutes of the game, or the last 18 minutes, I guess, that he played, you feel decent about what Tyrese can give you and how your offense is going to function. And I mean, these guys, man, like they have not at any point rolled over, quit. They do everything that they have to do to stay in these games and in these series. And I mean, this is the first time that they've trailed in a series all postseason, right? Because they've started every series up 2-0. So for them to have that type of resiliency is ridiculous. And I do think that OKC is going to win Game 7. We've come too far for me to switch. But I finally do respect the Indiana Pacers. They are a legitimate and respectable opponent for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shout out to you guys. You guys have made it as we do the tier list later in the episode, you start to think like there is just something about this team where if you stack it up against some of the other either finals losers or even potential winners, they can go toe to toe with some people.
No, they're very yeah. So I guess we talked enough about OKC, but all the perils of this game. And I think we all agree that we are going to pick them for Game 7.
Yeah.
Shout out the Pacers. I think we feel comfortable with that. Not a guarantee, but we feel comfortable.
At this point, I'm a question mark. I don't even know anymore.
We're at the last game of the season. I said at the beginning of the year, I thought OKC was going to win the title. I'm not going to change it now. They have one game. the whole thing was like, if I told you had one game on your home floor to win the title, would you take it? It's like, yes, all right, fine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the Thunder,
Yeah.
but the Pacers
Naturally,
are
yes.
obviously very for real.
Yeah, much respect to them. One game, anything can happen, so nothing's a guarantee in a game 7. But I'm not super worried just because I guess probably just because the bias of seeing it already against the Nuggets and going through that range of emotions of does this team have it under their biggest lights? I feel fine about their lock-in factor, about their performing under pressure. It's all going to come down to, I think, who's a better basketball team, and I feel fine about them. But again, anything can happen. So with that being said, shout out the Pacers. I've been saying this the whole playoff series. Just keep reiterating after they continue to come up clutch. So much respect for them. This is a viable finals team. I understand everybody thought they'd be a pushover. We're so far past that. They're not. Even outside of them being better than a pushover, this is a championship quality team. Clearly, you don't go to game 7 by coincidence. You don't make the finals by coincidence. You don't have a top 5 net rating in the NBA for 40 games and then beat the shit out of teams that are better than you, that everyone thought would be better than you, I should say, by coincidence. Nothing about this team is fluky. Nothing about it is unsustainable. I think they'll probably be great again next year. I don't know if they'll be in the finals, but this is going to continue. This run is real. They figured it out. They are so worthy of where they are. And so, like, regardless of what happens, just like the ultimate respect them team.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like the way that I'm about to talk about this Pacers teams to my kids in like 30, 40 years from now, nightmares.
Yeah,
Like, it's fucking spooky.
All the things people say about like real basketball is how you should be played. Like, it's very 2014 Spurs-ish, where you're like, you got to tip your hat no matter what side you're on, no matter who you're rooting for, how you feel. Even if you're a fucking Knicks fan who wants Tyrese Halliburton 6 feet under, there's nothing to not respect about them.
Yeah. Early numbers for game 7. Thunder are obviously heavy favorites, 8.5 point favorites for game 7.
Yeah. I say this every time. Every time you tell me a line, I'm like, I'm so bad at having a conception of if that's a good line or not. I have no
line. So the line tonight was Thunder minus 5.5, and so
Thunder were favored tonight.
Yeah,
I guess they're always favored. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's favored. Tyrese was a little hurt. You didn't really know.
True.
But
Yeah.
So 8.5, which is kind of like, it's a little bit less because most of the time when they've been at home in these playoffs, you've seen them at like 9.5, 10.5, even at 11. 8.5 is probably as close as you're gonna get. So again, everybody understands that on paper and given the resume, the Thunder are the better team and they have shown more. But there's just this factor that's looming where it's like, once again, you've put yourself in this position where you have to pass yet another test. And if you do, cool, you're gonna get stamped as one of having one of the greatest single seasons in NBA history. If not, very much believe so. This is a massive disappointment. If even as great as the Pacers have been because of everything that the Thunder have put on paper, if you do not win, it's crazy. And then the Pacers on the other side, you get your first title in NBA history, which is awesome. You get off of that terrible list. And then Tyrese Halliburton for the summer, top 5 player, you know what it is. Like that's kind of the way that it's gonna go.
Yeah. I won't feel
he's gonna be headlining on SummerSlam and WWE again.
True. I don't. If they lose the game, as of today, it being forced to a game 7, I don't feel like it's like I expect them to win in 6, right? I don't feel like it's some horror that it went to a game 7 because I feel like it's more about the Pacers being better than everybody thought. But yeah, if they lose, even if it is like, let's say it's an amazing game 7 and it's like pure basketball, both teams playing amazing, the Thunder aren't shitting the bed, the team is just going back and forth, and Tyrese Halliburton hits another game winner. So that in itself won't be a like terrible loss and won't be embarrassing. But the simple truth is you're one of the most dominant teams of really all time in the regular season.
Alleged.
Yeah, like, but not even alleged. Like, in every numerical sense.
History.
In every numerical sense, you're one of the best regular season teams of all time. No matter what the outcome is, no matter how understandable it is, massive disappointment to not win the finals. Like, teams like this, of this level of dominance over an 82-game sample size and then 3 rounds sample size after that are this dominant net rating-wise, win-wise, win margin-wise, with an MVP, with the number 1 defense, all the very calculatable things that you look across NBA history and you see other teams that check those boxes, those teams never don't win the finals. Yeah. Outside of 2016, they always win the finals. 2016 Warriors didn't, and actually the 2016 Spurs didn't. They're also on that tier of like net rating. And those two teams happen to be existing in the same time of LeBron James and a 3-1 comeback. Outside of that crazy year of history, that's one of the most unpredictable Junes we've seen. These type of teams always win the championship for the most part. So if you don't, tough. You join a list of unfortunate names.
It's been This is crazy. And again, we're 3 days before Game 7. And this is, I think, the first time that I had like 100% legitimately is like, wow, the Pacers really might win the title. And I still haven't been, like, I've allowed myself to think about that. They are so weird in everything that they do that I still don't know how to process like, this Indiana Pacers team being an NBA champion, like an actual titles team.
That's what's great about it.
Yeah, I agree. They're literally going to change the way that we talk about basketball for a little bit.
Are they going to solve tanking?
Low key, they will be a North Star for how to not tank and get to a championship. No, to be fair, I don't know if you can really replicate scamming the Kings at Tyrese Halliburton, but
You're just going to find the dummies in the league. That's all.
They always exist. They always exist.
Both teams have kind of done that. Like the Thunder, you can say a scam, but like the Clippers also like in that moment
They had to.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but it's like you can stay where you're at, and then if you are able to find a young star somewhere else and say, all right, we know that like we trust you and we see some stuff. There's other avenues outside of just let's lose for 3 years. Let's lose for 4 years.
You know, it's not monumental. It's not rewriting the way basketball works to just have a good, well-rounded team. That's not new. But in the age of the second apron, you know, the three-star model isn't dead for no reason. It's really because of second apron. Everyone talks about it like these days you got to have depth. The 3-star thing doesn't work anymore. These teams are too good. Yes, probably part of that is true, but part of it is it's just you can't have 3 stars plus great bench anymore because of second apron. So I think they probably show that them picking this route wasn't because of second apron, but they really benefit at the right time. And that's probably the reason you'll see more teams start to replicate this if that is the path, just because it's increasingly more viable because it's increasingly less viable to have a top-loaded roster.
Yeah, I agree. Like most of the times when it comes to how we see teams try to build contending organizations, it's two easy ways to cop out. Okay, like let's just be really ass for a couple of years and then pick really high in the lottery, or at least try to. Or it's like, okay, let's try to go ahead and throw any top free agent a bag. But obviously we all know that's like one of the most inconsistent ways to build your organization for a slew of reasons. And you're right, I agree with both of you guys. These two teams are the poster boy, and they should like exemplify to every single team, especially small market teams in the NBA, how to genuinely sit down and build without sledding yourself and embarrassing yourself, being one of the worst teams in the league and checking your ass for that number 1 overall pick, while also like not
sledding, embarrassing, shaking ass anymore.
It's embarrassing. Don't be
just open the club.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be the Utah Jazz. Don't be the Washington Wizards.
I said this last time on the last episode. Obviously, I want OKC to win. You know where my biases lie. If those weren't my biases, I would be so happy to see the Pacers win. This is such a cool team. Obviously, I'll be very sad if the Thunder lose. Once I'm over that, I will be so happy for the Pacers. Like, it is such a cool story that, like, in any other year, I would be over the moon rooting for this team.
You're not going to be able to get over it. They're going to let you know all summer. Like, it's just going to be a constant wave of just like, haha.
But, like, once I stop giving a fuck and I mute my mentions, I will enjoy this team.
Nerfed. Ain't got to do nothing about it.
Dude, the last episode, the top comment with, like, 800 likes is we're going to dunk on Isaac when the Thunder lose. It was 2-1 when they said that. Everyone's just itching anytime they see an opening. So, but again, I still feel fine.
I need you to take the biggest lap ever and respond to that comment.
I don't feel like it's
Can
like
you
hardly
do that in a game 7.
It's hardly
a win is a win.
It's hardly a victory lap to say the Thunder are going to win. Like, they're just the fucking best roster in the NBA. So like, I don't feel like it's some Nostradamus shit to say the best team is going to win. But,
yeah, absolutely not.
But a lot of people thought they weren't going to be the best team. So,
but with how they're coming after your neck as if like you're putting your life on the line for this team,
to think about the team.
On them. Yeah.
But yeah, the Pacers, outside of biases, outside of you hating them because you're a Knicks fan, amazing story that. No, like you said earlier, even if they lose, will be fantastic to look back on forever.
Yeah, I told you I guess now after Game 7, the day after, June 23rd, hey man, this Pacers team was an all-time run. Oh my God, this is so amazing. I just can't do it for this season.
Yeah.
But the moment the offseason hits and we start going to draft stuff, when I look back on it, it's going to be with, rose-tinted glasses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
All right, man. So we'll see what happens in Game 7. With that being said, let's get on to the second part of this episode. Let's talk about the thing you see in the title. We are going to put the last 20 NBA Finals teams into a tier list. So that's 10 years of finals from 2016 to 2025. Both teams, winner and loser. And we're doing this because, We don't know the outcome of Game 7 yet, so we don't know who wins between the Thunder and the Pacers. But I think we have a pretty good idea of how good both these teams are, and I think it's fun to kind of reflect these two teams relative to modern NBA history, which I feel like 2016 is a good starting point. 73-win Warriors ushering in the new era of basketball.
Yeah.
LeBron James 3-1 comeback to now. That's the modern NBA. I think you can give or take a couple years, whatever, but. Let's stack up these two teams against the rest of them. We're going to start in 2016, go year. Normally, we kind of do random order. This time, we're going to start in 16 and go year by year until we get to 2025 at the end. Put every team in this tier list and really try to, like...
This is going to be really
It's hard because we're not going to know who
conversation.
wins.
Yeah.
But really try to think about both these two teams this year and compare them to others. And I guess kind of talk through both outcomes depending on who we think could win either way.
All right, makes sense.
So first off, let's start with 2016. Golden State Warriors, 73-win team, lost in the finals. Where do they belong?
I'm going A tier. I think S tier, as we talk about it, should only be reserved for teams who won the title. And like obviously, it's the greatest regular season that we've ever seen. They had all the records. That was Steph's, best offensive season. You had a 3-1 lead in the finals with home court advantage, and you lost. And like, it's insane.
But so obviously, like the Draymond Green of it all and all that, do we want to try to, I guess just a general point of this list, are we going to tie ourselves to what happened in that way and like really choose the outcomes as like deciding factors? Or are we going to try to like step back and be like this team, if you simmed it 1,000 times, how good are they? Like, how do you want to approach it?
For me personally, I'd like to look at the team one for one, what it is. Of course, like we're going to be naturally a little bit influenced about the income or the outcome. But I will say, for me personally, this team 73-9, how stacked this roster was before the KD era in terms of like the strength in numbers, Warriors, and how deep their bench was. They still belong in the S tier conversation for me. They're one of the best teams that the NBA has to offer over the last like 10-year span.
And
just
I feel
because
like
they lost doesn't mean like they just immediately get deduced to A tier.
Yeah, and there's also one more team on here that lost that like I know you'll want to put S tier, I think. So if we want to decide only winners can go S tier, that's a fine rule. Let's just be real clear about that. Are we sure we want to do that?
I don't think we can do that. I don't want to put losers.
I think,
can't do that.
I do think that it's fair because while we can have the conversation of if we simmed it 1,000 times, who would win? I do think that like we are in this universe, and so like judging people based on what they did and what they were accomplished, and also the longer we move away from 2016, the more and more I'm like, okay, obviously Draymond wasn't there for Game 5. You still had 2 more opportunities and a Game 7 on your home floor to close it out, and so like, yes, you should get it done. You were the best team of all time. You had your opportunities, and you also failed in those moments as well. So yes, you can blame it on Draymond getting suspended. I mean, he was there for game 6. He was there for Game 7. Gave you a legendary performance. Steph didn't show up in Game 7. Clay didn't show up.
But I think you need to divorce yourself from like this specific series, and I'm just thinking about like the genuine quality of this team and how they stack up against like the entirety of this list, not just like the Cleveland Cavaliers and what happened in that series.
I understand. I really just do think that S tier should be reserved for title teams.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible rule. That's for this tier list. I guess that does make sense.
As a requirement. If you wanted to decide that there's other title teams that just aren't as good as S tier teams, that's cool. But I do think that if you want to get into that tier, you should have to win the title.
I just think with that vision, like we quickly fall over ourselves.
Okay, no, I'll just bury. I won't bury the lead. So let's say that. Let's say you're right, and we'll do that. That you're not guaranteed S tier if you want, but you have to have S tier you have to win to be S tier. That's fine. This is obviously the best team of A tier. This is a top 3 defense in the NFL, in the NBA. It's NFL, what the fuck? Yep. Top 3 offense in the NBA. One of the greatest net ratings of all time. Best record of all time in the regular season. Obviously the best team in A tier. When we get to 2019, that'll be an interesting conversation because they also lost. So that's what I want to do.
Exactly.
So Cavs, 2016. Obviously, this team isn't as good as them on paper, but they beat them. They obviously have to be A tier as well, then, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they dominated the Eastern Conference. Like whooped the Eastern Conference ass consecutively. That was the heavy LeBron year. I think naturally they just belong in S tier. Really quality team.
Oh, you said S tier. I was thinking A tier as well. I think there's some teams on here that we'll get to that are
okay. Okay.
I think
I see what we're doing.
there's a couple teams on here that you can make an argument as being a couple of the best teams of all time. I don't think the Cavs are one of the best teams of all time. I think they had one of the best series of all time with the defining moment of all time, but they were never, basically they weren't a good enough defense. And I'll pull up.
You know what? I can agree with you because there were so many times where I'm just talking about like specific roster wise. Kevin Love is holding them the fuck back, and they have to rely on I don't know how old he was. He was at that time a 35-year-old Richard Jefferson, and they had to find ways to supplement Kevin Love and his offensive and defensive woes so many times. So I'm okay with like looking at this team and being like, yeah, you guys weren't S tier. You're not one of the greatest. You are one of the better teams of all time. You won a championship, obviously. You had one of the best moments of all time. I don't think I can agree with you on that.
Yeah, they were 10th in defensive rating for the regular season. And, they had a lock-in that they raised their level of defensive acumen to in the playoffs, so that is an element. And they do have the best player of all time at his peak, so that is obviously a strong consideration. That the best year of Kyrie. It is a well-rounded team, but I think we'll get to teams on here that are like, okay, if we're going across all of NBA history, we can literally say you might be number 1 or might be number 5, whatever.
Okay.
There's across NBA history, there's 15 teams better than this.
Okay. I'm okay with putting them in A tier as well.
Yeah, it's a good place to start. 2017. So listen, we have a whole Cavs versus Warriors saga to get through. The interesting part is the 2017 Cavs are better than the 2016, but they did not win, so they can't go S tier. So I think
they're again A.
I think we can. You know what's funny? I think we can order them within these tiers.
Yeah.
I think the 17 Cavs are better than 16, even though they
For
didn't
sure.
win.
Without
So
That's
that
fair.
that feels
Yeah.
like it doesn't make sense, but they're the better team.
Yeah.
They got the better version of Kyrie because in 2016 he was coming off that injury. He had a good playoff run, but the regular season performance wasn't quite as good. 17 he was a goddamn god. That was by far his best season with the Cavs. They had even more better depth because they were getting veterans over time. LeBron didn't lose a step. They were fantastic. Their offense was ridiculous in 2017.
Yeah.
They just ran into the greatest team of all time.
Yep.
And that's to fault of nobody, not even their own.
And there we go. S tier, we got the Golden State Warriors. This is, for my bet, the best team of all time. You can put them up against the 1996 Bulls. Maybe what was the best Showtime team? 87? That's one.
Yeah.
Whatever, 87 or 85, 84, whatever the best Celtics was. I can't remember. Put them up against any of them. 0-1 Lakers. I think you can not safely, but you can reasonably say 2017 is the best team of all time.
This is
Stacked. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
it's honestly 2 at the lowest.
At the lowest.
At
Okay.
the
okay.
lowest. Whoever you want to put in the bracket, that's fine.
Whatever your era is.
They're gonna play the 2017 Warriors at the end of the bracket. They're gonna play them in the championship game. So all of them, you guys are fighting for the chance to play them.
And then obviously 2018 Warriors, same things. The team was just as good. They lost a couple depth pieces over time, but they waltzed their way to the finals again. Also, obviously S tier. Now we're finally getting to the interesting part. What are we gonna do with 2018 Cavs?
I'm going D. I think the 2018 Cavs
I was
are
gonna say F.
the only reason
It's LeBron.
there's a massive difference between them and the other team that we're gonna put in F tier in terms of like the worst.
You're right.
team
You're right. You
of
can't
the
be,
last-
if you have LeBron James, you can't be F because we have teams on here that don't have LeBron James and are
Exactly.
equally as mid. So okay, D tier. This team is so interesting just because it was such a weird year, right? They rebuilt a team on the fly at the deadline. There was zero chemistry baked in, zero expectation built in because they're going against the Warriors. Nobody thought they had a chance. It was a bloodbath. It was a sweep. Game 1, they almost won off of LeBron's greatest playoff game of all time that they lost.
Yeah.
The gap between them and the Warriors was so unbelievably massive that maybe you could argue they're a little bit better than this because if they weren't facing that Warriors team, if they were facing who came out the West another year, the 2023 Nuggets, maybe it'd be a competitive series. Maybe we look back and say this team is reasonable finals team. But I don't know, man. We saw them get beat so bad. It's hard.
Hell nah. I remember when they made that midseason trade and every single Cavs fan was so happy. No one's ever been happier than Cavs fan in that year
For Jordan
to
Clarkson.
have Jordan Clarkson and Rodney Hood on your roster.
And Larry
Those
Nance.
two, Larry Nance Jr., they were so happy, and everyone, all the talking heads are like, yeah, man, like this is the team to beat, which they were, I guess, in the Eastern Conference.
They really weren't. It
But-
should have been Toronto, and then LeBronto happened again.
Yeah.
Right, that happened. You have the 7-game series against Indiana where LeBron hits. I know he hit 1 game winner. I'm not sure if he hit 2, but like that whole playoff run is it's the spawn of what some people say is like the best Bron year, which is really the best Bron playoff run. Like that's what you will argue about, not the best season. But yeah, 2018, it's a cool year to look back on, but the actual team,
Ass.
the actual team, is
And I think
hot.
they're a good they're a good team for this tier list because it shows like where you rank a team that is not good, but it has one amazing player and gets their way to the finals. We might see similar teams on here that are like top heavy and made it there because somebody drug them, but they were not good. You know, like overall the team is nothing that should be there. It was just Herculean effort that got them there. That's the pinnacle of D tier.
And it's crazy. I really wonder what would have happened had LeBron, not broken his hand in that final. It's crazy. Man showed up after the sweep in a cast, like, man, get out of here, dude. That was hilarious.
No comment. 2019 Raptors. Here, this is another difficult one to rank.
I ain't gonna lie, this is one of my favorite teams of all time, man.
You love this team.
Love it.
Everybody should. They get overlooked because they're Canada, but like this is one of the deepest teams of all time. They have multiple elite defensive bigs, a great point guard, a slew of wings that can get you buckets and play two-way. Danny Green, elite defender. Pascal Siakam, elite defender. OG Anunoby, elite defender. Wasn't there for the finals, but up and down the roster, their bench could be a starting lineup for a mid-tier playoff team.
Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell was there.
Off
God,
the bench.
man,
Siakam
crazy.
off the bench. They had Serge. They had Marcus Gasol, who had a great year for them. And then obviously the Kawhi Leonard of it all. Captured lightning in a bottle. One of the better playoff runs of all time. Doink, 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 doink to beat the 76ers. Destroyed. Was it Orlando Magic in the first round? Decimated them. It was... Yeah, that's where he's really stat padded. He beat the fuck out of the Magic, killed them. That was really like the start of it because then he got hurt halfway through the playoff run. But his numbers against the Magic were outlandish. And obviously they won it all. There is the injury element of it all, but they did win against the Warriors team. Is there an argument for S tier?
When you stack up this roster against every other team, every team in S tier, which is just the Warriors, I think there can be an argument because in my mind, this might be the deepest team playoff finals winner that we've seen over the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I
think that's very fair
1
to say.
to 10 or whatever the number is, they are the deepest. And when it comes to quality and peak of star player, Kawhi Leonard, obviously, I don't know if this is the best version of Kawhi Leonard, but regardless, it's one of. Yeah, he can look every single player on this on the KD and LeBron specifically, and Steph Curry in the eyes. He's just that level. And then Kyle Lowry as well. I hate to use him in this argument, but again, fantastic co-star who hits consistent, timely shots. They might be S tier quality.
And you know what? Pascal Siakam elevated in the playoffs to be the third best player in a very similar way to Kawhi elevating in 2014. That's kind of why you view that Spurs team as an all-time team, because even though he wasn't that for the whole regular season, Kawhi became like another star level player when it mattered most. You kind of got that for Siakam too. So that's another element of it that makes their depth that much better, their star power that much better. Do we want S tier for this list because it's a finals team list? Do we want to reserve S tier for a team you could argue is one of the greatest of all time? Or do you want to be a little more lenient? Because I think this team is probably a tier above. Actually, no.
I think if
do I think that's
if we're going in this specific pool,
yes,
I do think that the Raptors are S tier. In this specific one, because the only one, and we have this conversation all the time, but the only other ones that the other teams that you would put them up against is like the 21 Bucks, the 23 Nuggets, and the 24 Celtics.
There's one team on here I think for sure is better, and that's really it. Other than that, it's debates. So I'm fine going S tier personally. 2016 Warriors being an A tier makes it hard because I'm like, is this team a tier above a 73-win team? I don't know, but they did have. I'll pull it up. I think they had the number one. No, they were number
defense.
2. Number 2 defense because the Bucks. That was the first year the Bucks were an insane defense, if I remember correctly.
I think they were a top 5, at least in the regular season.
Oh, you're right. Number 5.
They're number 5 in defense and number 5 in offense.
Yeah, so well-rounded in the. Yeah, okay, so 5.
But also, like, Kawhi, I think Kawhi didn't. He missed a certain chunk of time, I believe. And they were on a run. If everyone was raving about how this team is so stacked, even without Kawhi Leonard.
Only 5.8 net rating.
Damn. Does that move me? No.
Yeah, I don't care. I do think that the depth is great. And then, like you said, the elevation of Siakam and the dad strength of VanVleet that he got in that run also is something that you do have to look at. Is if they're playing at that level, they are one of the best teams on here.
They have answers for everything you could possibly throw at them too, offensively and of course defensively. Like Marc Gasol, of course he was towards the latter half of his career. But still, as a rim protector and his smarts overall, he was fantastic. You got Kawhi, OG, who was in the finals, correct? I believe that's what you said earlier. Pascal Siakam, Danny. Like, the depth is so incredible. And when it comes to looking at this team, and we also, one of the most popular terms that we see nowadays is like, oh, who's going to get hunted on? Who are you going to hunt on this 2019
Lowry, I
Raptors
guess.
team? Kyle Lowry, that's the guy?
Would this team beat the 2017 Cavs? Would you have picked them to beat the Cavs?
The 2017 Cavs is tough.
That's
Okay,
tough, right?
okay.
That makes you think they're A tier.
So
Yeah.
this is two different questions because in the moment I know I would have picked the LeBron team.
Looking back.
Looking back, they beat them.
I don't know. I don't think
I think so.
my gut says A tier. My gut says 2016 and 2017 are similar caliber teams, and 17 and 18 Warriors are like so head and shoulders that my gut says they're just like the best team in A tier. Because I feel, but I'm not. You guys decide right now. We'll keep it moving.
Yeah, this is tough. Because I was genuinely more so leaning that way because I view the Warriors in just like a all-time context. And obviously, I don't want to put the Raptors in that same conversation. But considering the window that we have here, which is just 10 years, they're in the conversation.
I'm going S tier for them.
Okay, S tier it is.
But I'm not like tied down to it. I could very much swing them to A
Well,
later.
decide now. Swing your way now.
I'll decide later. Put them in S tier for now.
Then we're not going back to that. You're just taking S tier.
No.
2019 Warriors. We'll keep it pushing. Obviously, they didn't win. If you want to say you have to win to S tier, then I guess they're top of A tier. But they are like, their depth had depleted a little bit. So you can say they're worse than 18 and 17, but they only didn't win because of injuries. Do you want to give them the caveat, or do you want to say if you're not a winner, you're not S tier?
I mean, in my book, no. If you didn't win, then I don't think you can be in S tier. I think 2019 versus 2016, because you have Kevin Durant on 2019, it is an interesting conversation of like, who do you think is better?
I don't think it is. I think 2019 is clearly better. They would have three-peated if he didn't get hurt. You know, like
Yeah, it's an easy confirmation to me. I'm just putting them in S tier. Again, this roster stacks up, like you said earlier. Like they were depleted legitimately off of certain depth pieces, but still, again, I think we can all agree they're winning that finals matchup in 2019 if they're healthy.
it's basically do want to be principled or not, because it feels silly to not put him S tier because
They're
they
S tier.
have those 3 stars and we know it's injury caveat.
Yeah,
But if you want to be principled, I don't know.
they're S tier. What are we talking about right now?
Do we give them? They're the only team on here that lost because of injury in that way, I think. So do you want to give them the only exemption? Because no other team on here lost because Kevin Durant, caliber player, got hurt midway through.
Yeah, and Klay Thompson as well.
Yeah, okay, they're fucking S tier.
Yeah, Klay Thompson was out as well that same series.
So 2020 Miami Heat.
The next game.
This is when Jimmy Butler in the bubble and Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero had a great series. I think because we have another version coming of the same team that's F tier, I think they can be D tier.
D tier?
The 2020 Miami Heat.
Oh, the twin. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
I'll give them D tier because in the bubble, everybody's attributes are +5.
Yeah.
So like they're a little bit better, and you do have a better version of Jimmy Butler in 20
Yes.
than you do in 23.
This version of Jimmy Butler legitimately had juice in his legs still. Great scorer, great passer, was putting up crazy numbers, walking triple-double, the most heart anybody's ever seen. Bam Adebayo was amazing. Bam Adebayo had a real good playoff run too. Goran Dragic was giving you buckets. Tyler Hero had a great early playoff run. I don't think he did anything in the finals. He's a bit of a target.
He
but
snarled.
He snarled. That was, I think it was like the second round or something.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But he was on a run there. I respect that team, but not enough to put him higher than D.
That's fair. That's fine.
We all on board.
And I think we can say it pretty safely, not spend too much time on it. 2020 Lakers are A tier, right?
Yeah, same exact conversations for 2017 and 16.
Where do you want to put them in? I low key think they're better than the Cavs teams, but you can convince me otherwise.
I would.
Maybe
I would
specifically because we got bubble AD. That did happen.
Yeah, he's miles better than whoever than Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
And it's just that defense genuinely moves me. So
I think you can, if you want to say it's fake. Obviously, there is some elements that make it different. Sure, go
Yeah.
by all means. AD never shot that ever again. He shot like that in these playoffs, and
Yeah.
we see plenty of series that have hot shooting you never see again for different reasons, and we still respect it. I'm going to consider that version of AD. That's, I think, better than Kyrie by a wide margin.
that's
Low key in the finals.
that's a
Anthony-
lot of wides. It's fair, but it's
Anthony
a lot
Davis
of wides.
was debatably better than LeBron James in the 2020 playoffs. That's a lot of wides from Kyrie
It's a
Irving.
lot of wides.
He was in LeBron conversations, not
Mhm.
Kyrie conversations.
Yeah, I don't think Kyrie's ever been in top 10 player conversations either.
Anthony Davis
So-
was the second best player in the world for the 2020 playoffs. They had number 1 and 2.
He did have it. He did have
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Okay, it's clear A tier. 2021 Bucks. This feels to me like the nice way to christen in B tier.
Yeah, I think they're B tier, easy.
First title team in B tier.
Yeah,
Do we underrate them?
Yes.
Right? Like
Yes.
have we gone so by and
Yes.
we always talk about how like 21 is the forgotten year.
Mm.
Should we put a little bit more respect on them?
I think we have to start filling out these tiers at some point. At some point we have to.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna put the 21 Suns in B tier.
nah,
I think they're C tier.
they're C tier for sure. They're a firm C tier.
That's
They're
a great
firm
team,
C-tier.
though.
It's
It
a
is.
great team.
Okay, but these are all
But
finals
like,
teams.
if you sit down and look at all these teams, you're by your metric too. They both firmly belong in C because they lost to the 2021 Bucks, and you're just not gonna sit here and tell me in my eyes like they're better than the 2016 Warriors, the Lakers, and both of those cats. You don't believe that?
No, I respect them fully.
I was never gonna put them in.
Houston would be. No, I respect them fully. I think obviously they got to the finals with a lot of injuries. You beat who's in front of you, but that is, the competition element of it wasn't the strongest. When they got to a healthy, competent team, they blew a 2-1 lead or 2-0 lead and got decimated by Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think I respect 1,000,000% the Chris Paul Devin Booker duo. It was fantastic. Their depth was crazy. Mikal Bridges, DPOY level player. DeAndre Ayton was still good and hungry before he got paid. I fully respect them. That's why they're not D or F or anything like a lot of the losers are going to be. They besides the LeBron teams and the injury riddled Warriors years, where those are like two of the best players of all time. Besides those teams, they'll probably be the highest loser.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of the other losers won't be higher than C tier. I don't think.
Okay.
We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but
yeah.
I don't think I am. But besides this
We'll
year,
see.
because we don't.
We'll
Besides 2025, because we don't know who won yet.
Mhm. Okay.
But yeah, and B tier. You asked the question? Do we underrate the Bucks? Yes, yes. The world, I think, has kind of, because they immediately fell apart body wise, and we didn't get to see them really defend their throne. Everybody kind of like 1-year championships in general get disrespected. I think when you don't have an extended run, because the NBA is a league that's kind of defined by dynasties for the most part. 1-year champions always get disrespected, I think. And then especially defensive slanted 1-year champions.
Yeah.
NBA fans love offense. This team won with defense. They definitely get disrespected.
Yeah, I agree. We're so every single time a new NBA team has won a championship, we're like, oh, like is this time for the dynasty? We opened those conversations with the Denver Nuggets when they won. Same thing with the 2024 Boston Celtics. And as time goes on, we just really start to diamond test as fans in my mind how legitimate and how like deep or great of a team it was. So I agree with you for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they are underrated. And 22 was so cool. Before the Grant Williams game, like if they were able to give me one more day,
Yep.
like they could have. I had picked them to go back to back. I do think that like they would have. Giannis was playing at a crazy level, and I think in 22, especially for that run, like you really saw. Oh no, this is like the best player in the world right now.
And that's another reason why Giannis is definitely, the Bucks are definitely B tier. Maybe I should say the top B tier, I think, because that version of Giannis, one of the best two-way players of all time. That was one of the, dude, he had 51 points in a finals game to close out, and a defining legendary career photo that's going to be on the front of your highlight reel, block and dunk in the game winner. Just every way you want to pinpoint to things that make him special as a two-way player, we're all in this series. It is like such a good way to personify who he is as a player.
Yeah,
I agree.
2022 Warriors, a team that maybe also gets disrespected a little bit too much. I think someone up here sitting on the couch in between us commonly says they're the worst championship team of the last 10 years, which might be true. But I think besides you, who's a hater, a lot of people point to this team and say they won without a second option. It's really impressive for Steph Curry, but it's not, stack them up against everybody else. Not the best team of all time. How do we gauge that?
For me, I think looking at the depth of the team and how reliant they were on guys that you shouldn't really be reliant on for a deep postseason run, which is like, okay, like shout out to Andrew Wiggins, fantastic player specifically for that year. He did his thing. He made. I think that was the same year he also like made the All-Star team.
Yes.
Shout out to Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole also.
Shout out to K-pop fans.
Yeah,
K-pop
Jordan
fans.
Poole also had a great year, but in the finals specifically, he didn't really do much. And he was really like a pain point for the Warriors at times. So for me personally, I don't think this lineup 1 through 10 or 8 or whatever it is stands a chance against the rest of these teams. And I genuinely think it's one of the weaker teams from head to toe. So for me, I would have them at C.
What do you think their regular season offensive rating was for the season?
In 2022,
Their rank. They were second in
they're
defense.
probably
they were an
their
elite
defense.
defense.
Is insane. I
like
think they're
12th in offense.
Yeah,
They're 16th in offense.
exactly. Yeah, I would.
16th in offense.
I was
I mean, what that 21 Bucks team? What are they in offense?
I think like 12th. Let me check.
yeah, because like they also weren't. I think that they're kind of in that caliber.
No, they were 5th. What am I talking about? They had a great offense. It was a little fugazi because every year they fell off in the playoffs a little bit, but they had the 5-out spacing. Giannis attacked the rim. The offensive
It was peak
never,
Brook
never,
Lopez.
never mind. Every time that we talk about the Bucks, I always think about them and I'm like, oh, they had like the 18th best offense.
This is a weird
Yeah.
year. This actually in this season they were 9th in defense, 5th in offense. You're thinking of early in the runs whenever they lost in the bubble in like 2019. In 2019 they were 1st in offense and actually 4th in defense. They fucking choked so hard in the playoffs. They choked so
Wasn't
hard.
that like didn't the wall originate around
Yeah,
that time?
the Toronto
too?
Raptors beat the
in
shit out of them.
19.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in 2020, 2019 and 2020, they were a little bit weaker on offense at some points, but 21, they were stronger offensively than defensively for the regular season.
So I would agree with you that yes, they won the title and they probably should be in C tier, but you also get a like fully formed Steph Curry where
Very true.
where you have the best, basketball player, the IQ, the strength, the team defense, the ability to go get a bucket in certain ways that he wasn't, that he didn't have before. Like, I think that version of Steph should be enough to elevate them to B tier.
Oh, they're definitely B tier to me. I wasn't considering C tier. Yeah, it looked different. They won with defense. They had great role players. Otto Porter gave them a fantastic year. The only year he stayed healthy. He sacrificed all the blood magic to give them that one run. Andrew Wiggins, as much as he was important as a second option,
Yeah.
consistent mid-range bucket scorer in that run. Fantastic defender. Brought the defense together. Draymond Green masterclass that season. Just a very strong defense, and then potentially the best offensive player of all time, and potentially the
For
best
sure.
offensive year outside 2016. So that feels perfectly fine to go B tier.
I just don't know if this team would able to like. Do you think they're really better than the 2021 Suns?
Yes.
Yes.
Why so?
Yes.
Steph Curry, and Draymond Green.
But even the Draymond piece about it. Think about that run, because that was one of the first years where, or at least in that I can remember, but like legitimately, he's doing the podcast and like that was like an actual story after every game where like they would go and lose to the Grizzlies in game 1 or game 2 or something like that, and Draymond would be podcasting that night, or they would play a finals game, and he, at least in the finals, he was not there offensively, and he openly talked about like all the struggles. So when you talk about Jordan Poole, who was a massive offensive piece for them throughout the year, and then he falls off in the finals and he was unplayable in spots. Draymond, who said that he was rattled, wasn't really like hitting the side of the backboard on threes and stuff. Then you really see, as long as he got 17 points from Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry was going to do everything. Like they were playing Juan Toscano Anderson on this team for real.
Yeah.
So like that version of Steph is the reason why like you have that great of a player. The Suns don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot out of their. You look at this team and you see limited talent and you think blah, but they got a lot out of that talent. Like you don't have a number 2 defensive rating with those players playing at the level you'd expect. They all played above their heads. They all played as a team. Like they did a lot of things that we praise other teams for, but we overlook it because I think implicitly we think about better versions of this team and we like assume this is like such a diet version, which it is, because the better version that's not diet is the best team ever fucking assembled in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
So that is all true, but I think that still gets into a pretty high baseline level.
GP2 is still eating off this chip.
GP2, like Kevon Looney has some juice.
Yeah.
Okay, 2022 Celtics, C tier.
Yes, but I think that they are better than the 21 Suns.
I do not think I think that, but I don't think that's crazy.
2022 Celtics.
That's the year that's Marcus Smart won DPOY,
Yes.
and Mark Williams is actually the better defender. They had that crazy defensive duo.
Yeah,
Robert Williams.
Rob Williams.
Robert Williams, not Mark Williams. Fuck. Yeah, Robert Williams,
Lakers
Time
fan.
Lord.
Yeah.
You wish.
God, I do not wish. I was thinking about Robert Williams. He was an insane defender. The combination of him and Al Horford together with the fundamental big defender and the balls to the walls, ridiculous vertical shot blocker, then offensively, the floor spacing big and lob threat in those two. Beautiful combination. I think they got a decent Marcus Smart shooting season that year, if I remember correctly. And that was really one of the first years Jason Tatum was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is one of the guys.
I agree. He was stamped as a. I don't know how to rank him.
He was top 10
from
player
right
at that
now,
time.
but I would comfortably say he was firmly top 10.
Yeah, he was top 10 at that time.
And he was making a leap offensively.
Is that the year he averaged 30?
No, that might have been the year prior. Maybe it was 22.
Or maybe it was the year after. Actually, I think that was the year before they got Drew Holiday in them, which was
He
24.
had, yeah, he had 1 year where
Let's see.
he was actually scoring a lot. He was getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line a lot. Was
23 was the average 30 year.
Okay.
But he was first team All NBA in this season. He was clearly a top 10 player in the world.
Yeah, this team was like also on a ridiculous pace because they started off just like right? They were average.
Oh,
And
that
then-
was a turnaround
and
season.
they had the mid-season turnaround where all of a sudden they have the best defense
Yep.
of like a long time. Ime is coaching like crazy. And so I think that for the second half of that year, I think they are better than the Suns.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It was very Pacers-esque where they just completely
Yeah.
flipped a switch and became, for the second half of the year. Let me see what it was. I'll look at their net rating post-January 1st. Pretty sure it was outlandish.
Yeah, and I think that was the marker, I think.
Okay.
But
Okay,
yeah, this team defensively, because even going into this series, obviously, like I was rooting for Steph, and I was like, oh, I really hope that the Warriors get this. All the models, like the Celtics, they were the favorite because you looked at it and it was, this is the better team. They have the best defense in the NBA. The other team just has Steph Curry, and that's really what propelled
If
it.
that's the continuous swing factor, then I'm fine with that.
But
Yeah.
they were like that though.
Yeah. Shout out defense, man. 2023 Nuggets. This is an interesting one because, like you said, this is one when they won. It was like, wow, they're set up to win for a long time. We're expecting this run to continue. They have the perfect starting five to complement Nikola Jokic. Not star power, just four perfectly fitting role players around potentially the best offensive peak of all time. Up there, top five, whatever number you want to describe is the top tier of all time players. LeBron, Jordan, Curry, Magic, Bird, whatever it is, that's your GOAT offensive players. Jokic is firmly in there. And this is firmly one of the most impressive single season playoff runs for one individual player. And their defense was, I think, 10th this year. They had a very respectable defense, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Starting five, amazing. They still had great depth. Again, don't have the star power of some of these other teams, but in a win with a perfectly fitting cast of role players, kind of similar to Pacers this year, kind of similar to Raptors that year. They're kind of in that mold, but their star player is better than those star players by a wide margin.
And this was Embiid's MVP, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the only year he didn't win it in this little run is the year he won the
Yeah.
finals.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm smelling A tier right now, between A and B tier.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's A or B for sure.
I think it's B. I see them, and I just don't know how you can put them a tier above the Bucks. I see, especially for like this early part of their career. Obviously, like I think Jokic has gotten to a different place. But when you look at Jokic's run for the first half of the decade and Giannis's, everything is so similar and it lines up that I think that both of them have their strengths. And so
The reason they're higher is their playoff offense was significantly better and less predictable. Just because the nature of Jokic as an offensive player and Bucks and the Giannis, I think, and Drew Holiday for that matter, they had a lot of downs similar to the Thunder, where like net rating overall, the Thunder had the third best offensive rating this year. But we know in a playoff setting they can have these shitter games because you can expose certain weaknesses.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that against the Nuggets. The Nuggets didn't have those type of weaknesses to poke at. They were pretty much who they were in the playoffs every time, and it was pretty foolproof. They had the best late game execution fucking ever with Nikola Jokic. Like the consistency would be the reason you put them above the Bucks.
Yeah, and
But
I very
a
much
tier above,
remember
though?
back in 2021, the Bucks are like live and die
Yeah.
by Chris Middleton decision making and whatever you
And
can
threes.
get from Giannis. Yes, exactly, and whatever you can get from Giannis in 30 second spurts or
And-
whatever it is.
Mike Malone, I think, was a better playoff coach at this point. But Bud
Yeah.
was an almighty floor raiser, was not inspiring confidence in terms of playoff adjustments. And not to say Mike Malone is like Steve Kerr or something, some of the best coaches of all time, but you didn't have those issues.
Okay, I'm with you guys. I think if you guys want to say that they're better, that's cool. I don't know if I can go a tier above though. I don't think that they're that much better than the 21 Bucks.
I think they would give the 2020 Lakers a run for their money. I'd probably pick the Lakers, but I think that's a comparable level of team.
Yeah, I think they're very much in the same tier
the
for sure.
the thing that does move me obviously is the late game execution, because that is true. It was like, if we get into the last 6 minutes,
There's
We're
one
not
thing
leaving.
you can guarantee: like Drew Holiday is gonna do some of the most infuriating things possible.
And keep in mind, this is the year where everybody was convinced that Jamal Murray was going to be a playoff riser every year because he went so berserk and was averaging 28 points for series, playing like a true star.
Mhm.
That didn't happen every year, but this year it did. And Jamal Murray was essentially a second star.
but that
2023 Jamal Murray is not that different from 2017 Kyrie Irving.
but that defensive trio of a 21 Brook Lopez with Giannis and having Drew Holiday who can still move around and everything, those three right there, that really does move me. So that's what I'm saying. I just think that they should both be.
Their bench wasn't like that though. That's the difference. Is the depth is also better at the Nuggets. I've named a lot of differences. I think as we've been talking through it, that I think I feel fine putting them in A tier.
A tier
I think the
above.
Nuggets were just a more consistent team and more well-rounded team overall.
But I'm not. If you want to go top of B tier, if you agree with that, I'm not going to fight that.
Nah,
He doesn't agree with that.
Hey, I'd
Here's
want to
the
put them
thing.
in A tier.
Okay, but we can go bottom of A tier. Just this like a lot of the numbers would agree with you too, like net rating and things, that they are closer to this team. But that playoff run, it was very very different. That playoff run, they went crazy,
Hmm.
and the Jokic was all. But
Did-
you're
did-
probably right.
Didn't play anybody who won 50 games.
Oh my god, that's a nasty.
You know what?
You're switching sides.
You played the Heat in the finals.
Yeah, well, we'll do that.
Wow.
I think they're firmly better than the Bucks, but I'm not mad at the tier being just above them.
Okay.
Also, just because we always flood A tier in these tier lists, and I want to have some differences here.
Yeah.
Trying to fight our own biases to always
Right.
flood A tier. 2023
First F tier.
Miami Heat.
Yep.
First F tier.
Obviously F tier. You know, they fought tooth and nail to get there. They had a crazy run. Shout out Jimmy. Shout out the organization. Not a particularly good team.
Was that the year they were like a 7th or 8th seed or
Yes.
something like that?
Yes.
Eight seed here. You get in from the play in, but the way that people talk about playoff Jimmy, like that's 2020.
Yeah.
Jimmy did have the highs of playoff Jimmy. The lows were also pretty bad. Like he had games where he was scoring, under 20 points, under 15 points, and
And wasn't the series against the Celtics more about the Celtics? I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember thinking, wow, they shit the bed. Like,
so yeah, 'cause in 23 they were up 3-0, and the Heat got up 3-0, and then Celtics came back.
Mm.
Oh, and it led up to game 7.
Yeah,
and then
game
didn't
7.
Tatum like get hurt or whatever.
He
Oh,
he
yeah,
rolls his
yeah.
ankle in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
But 23, the first two games of that series really were like, it was like, okay, the Celtics are the better team. Like, shout out to Jimmy because he's leading them. That game 3 ended up being a blowout. And it's like, wow, they're really about to blow it. And then they locked in. Game 6 was that Derek White game winner, all that. But they're just
yeah.
not the caliber of any of these other teams.
I'm
Yeah.
happy that we use F tier because we tend to be kind of pussy or whatever.
I know.
We never use F tier.
I think
so
from
here
now
it
on,
is.
we need to force stuff too. We need to get better at that. We have too many tier lists where we're like, they're all A tier. Yeah, duh. The tier list is only gauging great teams. Of course, we're all going to fuck their
Yeah.
good.
I be trying to put people in F tier and you guys are like,
I know. From now on, I think
yeah, he hating.
I think from now on we have to force ourselves to put at least one in S, one in F. Like
Yep.
I think we have to do that and like really. I think we just do that because we don't want people to get mad.
Yeah.
Because like we respect these teams too, but like listen, they're all good. That's the point of the tier list.
It's easier to do it. I feel like we get caught in that trap when we're doing it with players because we don't want to be like mean to the player because
Yeah.
like it'll only be one player. If it's the whole team, it's like, all right, you guys are.
And it is also it's also because this is a tier list of losers too, so it's easy to say the worst loser is F tier. When it's all winners, it's also kind of difficult.
We got to stand on it next time.
Yeah, we gotta get better at that. We've done so many tier lists and we've never done it to the truest
I
extent.
know
We should.
we use every single tier except for F continues.
We might have the highest volume of tier lists on the internet. We are not good at it.
Yeah.
2024 Boston Celtics. This to me is the team I've been holding out for that I think you can argue S tier. Not I think you should argue. I think this team is clearly S tier.
I don't know if they're clearly S
you
tier.
can argue
If
it.
the Raptors
Yeah,
are S
it's
tier,
so-
this team is S tier. This team, again, they didn't replicate it this year. They had some flaws. They regressed in 2025. For 2024, this team mastered modern basketball. The 3-point era we're gonna look back at it for years from now, and like the revolution that happened in the 2010s and 2020s, the understandings we gained, the ways we understood to mathematize the game. That's not a word. To turn the game into math, to really to extract value and turn it into baseball, where everything is a spreadsheet. This team exemplifies that.
This is the nerds' heaven right here.
But also, they have that, but also they're fucking nice. They have 6 deep of star level players. You want to talk about depth? Usually when people say that, they mean 1 through 10, you have good players. They're 1 through 6, but they have all-star level players 1 through 6. If you're, subscribing to the idea that Derek White was like all-star level that year or whatever. And, also being generous out Horford. But you know what I mean? Players that...
Top 30.
Yeah, we're top 35 players in the league that year. And so they got the numbers up. They played really well. The execution of the scheme that Joe Mazzulla put in was perfect. They won the math game every time. They also had ludicrous defensive talent with those top 6 guys, ludicrous offensive talent with those top 6 guys. Depth of star power, I have not seen many teams like this.
My only slight pushback to that is that if we were to put them in, like, S tier is such rare air. You're genuinely one of the greatest of all time, which they're a championship team for a reason. They are one of the greater teams of all time. But I think the quality and star player, okay, someone like Jason Tatum, I think his performance, and also Jaylen Brown, he won Finals MVP, but he didn't have a fantastic NBA Finals series either. It was a team collective overall that really edged them towards the top.
Counterpoint: the fact that they won the finals easily when both their stars shot like shit shows you how ludicrously dominant this team was. Think about that. They beat the shit out of the Mavs. It was not a close series, and both their stars could not buy a bucket. That's how high their floor is. That's how amazing they are on the margins. If you want to do the same reasons we hype up the Thunder, the net rating, the sample size, everything, they're neck and neck with them and all those things. They're also a top 5 net rating team of all time. Everything measurable about basketball says this team's one of the best teams of all time, and the outcome matched it. They waltzed their way to the finals. They were never pushed.
And yet, you watch them, and this team, I do think is at the middle in the barometer of that boy nice and stats watching, because I agree with you. I mean, I can't disagree. What you're saying is the numbers. There is a small element of this team where you watch them, you're just not on that level. I know what I'm watching, and you're not there.
And the aesthetics aren't good because people don't like watching a lot of threes,
But even then, it's I don't think anybody felt solid about them until you're up 2-0.
You know why that is, though? I think that's more about the reputation they gained from 2020 through 2023 was a lot of we're close, but we failed. And we all had these deep ingrained narratives that we also subscribe to. And I don't even think we're wrong to subscribe to that the Tatum-Brown duo had these inherent flaws because their style of play, that we just had been beaten to a pulp and forced to stop believing in them. But then they added Drew Holiday and KP, who performed like all-stars. And that changed everything. 2022, it was a great team, and they added 2 all-star players and took away almost nothing of importance.
It's a... I have to respect the resume and the numbers, and I guess it's a very short list of teams, and I mean the Thunder are trying to get on there now, but it's a short list of teams that have won 80 something games, right? 20 losses, all that stuff, and that version of the Celtics, they did do it.
Yeah, they didn't sustain it. They regressed almost immediately for different reasons.
Yeah,
and we can acknowledge that, and also say, while it kind of sucks, they probably won't have this extended run. They definitely won't now because Tatum got hurt. So there's also that. But for this year, it'll probably get forgotten in history because it wasn't fun. It wasn't aesthetic. People don't like it. But this is one of the most dominant teams of all time.
And you know what? We can put them in S tier because they did that run. Also, we talk about their top heavy depth and being 1 through 6. They did a majority of that run without Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, that's very true.
No KP. Both their stars shit themselves from shooting wise in the finals.
Yeah, they're S tier.
S tier feels good.
That might be the highest floor team of the last 40 years. That is crazy that they won so easily with that with everything you just said. Bad KP, poor shooting from both their star players, and it was never a question who's going to win that final series after game 1.
Yeah,
they won so easily.
Okay, S tier's fine.
2024 Dallas Mavericks. Elite defense. They had a midseason turnaround because they added Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington after a slow start. The Kyrie-Luka duo, perfection of 1-2 punch offensively with a great defense with play finishers around them. And they sputtered at the end because Luka got hurt. So I think we do have to factor that in a little bit, that while they got exposed by the way better team in the finals, Luka wasn't 100%. We don't got to give him too much bail and put them A or anything, but that is part of it.
I'll go C above the 21 Suns.
Them versus 21 Suns is a fun debate. I don't know who'd win that.
It's interesting. I think
they would win, but it's not like a clear cut.
Would they win?
I think they would win.
I think
definitely think they would win.
You definitely have the best player in the series, and you do have a version of Kyrie.
You agree, C?
I think I'd put them in C.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, and you do have a version of Kyrie that, for whenever he was on, and like could be there. Now you saw the stinkers in the finals.
Oh yeah.
I also think that part of that was like, I'm going up against the Sun. It was a lot of like mental stuff, but also But listen, you didn't perform, so like that is on tape.
People say that. They also happen to be facing the team that's probably on this list, the single most equipped team to defend Kyrie Irving, with Drew Holiday, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. Like, they just had the perfect defenders to go against him too. I don't even like blame him that much.
Yeah, and this is the worst offense for someone like Luka Doncic to go ahead and try to defend as well.
Yeah, the Celtics had all the answers for what they wanted to do, and
the splits in that series were crazy in terms of like when they were in Boston and when they were in Dallas.
Sounds a lot like this year. And you know, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
The Luka factor is a big one between them and the Suns. That's the only debate here is where you want to put them in the C tier. Because I think on paper, everything says the Suns are better over the sample size, especially because they didn't have the slow start to the season. I'm sure all their net ratings are better. The offensive rating, defensive rating probably reflect that. Luka really did go sicko mode for those first few rounds.
Yeah.
The defense being elite, rising to the level, Derek Lively being great, and Luka going berserk like he always does when he's healthy and has a good team. He is truly a playoff riser, so that factors into it.
Yeah, I think, and especially when you factor in the fact that anytime he sees the Suns, he blacks out.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. 2023, he sent them packing. So yeah, we're gonna put them above. We're gonna go ahead and put you right there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fair. 2022 Celtics still above them? I actually don't know, but I think
that's 2022 Celtics.
I really like. I
might
really
put
like
the 22 Celtics above them.
Yeah, I really like the 22 Celtics.
I don't think I don't.
No, my bad. I'm moving up the Mavericks.
Yeah,
I'm moving up the Raptors. I mean the Mavericks for sure. Yeah.
You just had so many team names.
I know. I said Mavericks, Raptors.
The Raptors popped in there somehow. Cameo. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. For every reason I respect the 24 Celtics, I don't respect the 22 Celtics because none of that shit was true that I just said. I think that team was deeply flawed before they got Drew Holiday and KP.
Yeah.
It's also, did they have White in 2022? I can't remember.
I think White was probably freshly.
Was that 2022 they acquired him?
No, I don't know actually. I don't know. I think they acquired him in 22.
They might have got him in 22.
Yeah, no, they did. They definitely did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, because they have Brogdon and White at a certain point.
Yeah,
yeah. Brogdon and White. You are
they
correct.
acquired him at that deadline.
Yeah.
Okay. 2025. We're here to this year's team. My first thought: we're going to debate these teams too thoroughly. I think because Game 7 hasn't been played yet, we don't know who's going to win.
Yeah.
I think both teams are A tier. So that's my thought. Is obviously OKC. If OKC had won tonight and finished in Game 6, we would have been talking about OKC and S tier. I think we currently, because Game 7 hasn't happened, we reserve the right. We'll go A tier to be conservative. And also, they have the offensive lows that I think you can say they're not the level of those teams in S tier that are perfect. I really don't think the Raptors should be S tier, so I'll exclude them when I say that. I think it's fine to say the offense in the playoffs holds them back in the same way that the Bucks are below the Nuggets because they have offensive inconsistencies. That's why the Thunder would be top of A tier even if they win Game 7. That's a fair argument. And then Pacers, they just fucking deserve it. They've just proven us wrong in every sport.
Yeah.
I'll say this. So
man.
I think that if the Thunder win, I think you can. If you don't want to put the Raptors in S tier, that's cool. We could honestly swap out the Thunder if they win. We could swap them out for the Raptors and kind of make that.
That is.
I don't want to put
that
OKC
logically.
in S
I don't
tier
think makes
at
any
all.
sense.
Yeah, I don't want to put. If you guys genuinely want to put that Raptors team in A tier, I've gotten to the point to where I'm like I'm okay with that because the OG Anunoby wasn't the OG Anunoby we know now, and also Norman Powell wasn't. He was very good back then, but he isn't the Norman.
I don't
Powell
want to put the 2019 team. I don't. It feels icky to put a team that lost above a team that won in this specific year.
That is true.
So we'll keep the Raptors in S tier, but put them at the bottom.
All right. I
think the 2025 Thunder could be the top of A tier, and I think. This again, so the Pacers might win Game 7, and this might look crazy. And if that's the case, hindsight 2020. My thought is to do this and put the Thunder at the top of A tier, Actually, I guess we'll put 73 above them. And then the Pacers at the bottom of A tier.
Okay.
That's my thought. And I just, mostly because the Pacers can, as of recording this, can beat the Thunder. It's not out of the equation. I don't think they will. I think we'll probably live in a timeline in which the Pacers didn't win. And living in the moment, they've just simply earned it. They're going toe-to-toe with this team. And it's not fluky in any way.
It's not.
But it does look nuts. It does look nuts.
However, the argument that I would say is, if this 25 Pacers team played y'all's 23 Nuggets, who wins?
That's hard.
That's such a different matchup because Jokic is so hard to like correlate. Like,
it's hard.
Probably the Nuggets.
I'm going to shit.
But again, I didn't think that's a very different. I don't know how to parse that because obviously
because I think that's the line. Obviously, because like we're talking about right now, but if we're talking about over the last 10 years, being at the bottom of A tier and at the top of B tier, that's kind of, like I said, like that's the line. I don't think that they would beat the 23 Nuggets. So I do think that they should be.
Okay, well, what about the 21 Bucks?
I don't know. I think that that's more of an even series. I think that out of 10, I think I would pick the Nuggets 6 times out of 10. And
you don't even feel good about it. You're queasy.
What I would do personally,
I'm trying to like create a different. Like I think if they play 10 times, I do think that this Pacers team has shown that they can play anybody, and so I would give them 50-50 chances against the 21 Bucks. I do think that more often than not, the Nuggets would beat this Pacers team.
Okay.
Yeah, if the series ended today and the Pacers lost, I put them B tier.
Yeah,
I think if they had lost today and the Thunder were the champions, I think the Thunder would still be the champions in Game 7. But again, this conversation is only for you if you're watching the next 3 days. You guys will know the outcome in the future. And if it's what I think it'll be, the Pacers should be B tier. But we don't know if that's the case or not.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even if they win, I don't know if they're better. I don't know if they're a step above the 23 Nuggets.
I guess really what I'm saying is we're just like pussyfooting because
put them in B
Don't
tier.
do it. Put them in B tier.
Okay, B tier. Fuck it. If we're wrong, we're wrong, and the Thunder that shouldn't be above them. But we're hedging our bets a little bit because we don't want a world in which the Pacers win the series in a few days and then we put the Thunder above them. It looks crazy if you watch a week from now. Mm-hmm. But no, fuck it. We all think the Thunder are the better team, and if the Pacers win, they will have beaten the better team. It has happened before. The team that would win over 1,000 game sample size in the 7 game sample size, they won.
Yeah, we have it in the tier above, where 2016 is at the top of that tier, even though that they don't have a title, to the team that they beat in 2016. And that's because they have that level of player in LeBron. It's the same thing here. If Indiana wins the title, it is one of the best feats that we have in the modern NBA. They still are a B tier team,
exactly.
Right? Like that's just what it is. But that makes their accomplishment that much greater.
I firmly agree. Like, no one's over here saying, like, when it comes to that 2011 Dallas Mavericks team, we don't big up the team. We big up the moment and what they're able to accomplish in that specific year.
Side note, we underrate that team. Go ahead.
Yes, exactly. And I can very much say as well. I agree with you, and I can also say as well, like, we've all underrated the Indiana Pacers, the entirety of fucking America as well. But they're still B tier.
Yeah, okay,
when you line them up against these all-time greats.
I didn't know how much you wanted to account for the fact that we don't know the outcome yet and they could still win. But if we want to just treat it like scratch my throat. If we just want to treat it like how we believe the quality of these teams, regardless of the outcome of Game 7, yeah.
Now the interesting one, and I don't. If they lose, then with the 24 Mavericks.
No matter what, the Pacers are better than the Mavericks, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would probably choose the this year's Pacers over that year. Mavericks.
This Pacers team is good, man. Their defensive level they reached.
Yeah, like how they took leaps defensively and how they've just like adjusted to every single matchup. They will have some for Luka. They would have Luka in hell, man.
I agree.
I disagree. I don't think
they have Shea in hell.
Luka,
relatively.
Luka's in for beast. You're all right.
They have Shea in hell half the games. Half the games Shea gets his way.
Yeah. So.
I think it'd be similar.
Yeah.
Shea, that's what I'm saying. Like, Shea just had 15 in a fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I think like the size of Luka, I think he can handle Nesmith and Nembhard a little bit better than Shea can. But that's neither here nor there. But okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and I feel fine about this. I feel like the Pacers are a legitimate championship quality team. I don't think they're going to win it. Again, 4 days from now, it might sound silly and you're watching this back and you might be laughing at us in the comments. We'll deserve it. But if we're just gonna plant our flag and not try to hedge our bets, and if we're not gonna try to be right and make it safe, we all think they're B tier.
Yeah, we have them as the second. Even if they lose, we have them as the second highest losing team over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Behind the Warriors, which is obviously a weird circumstance.
Yeah, third.
Oh yeah. And
Behind
2019,
Warriors, Cavs.
16, yeah.
Yeah.
We're 2017 Cavs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and those two teams are the best record of all time and the best player of all time.
So I feel very good about that. So yeah, for teams that don't have Kevin Durant or LeBron James,
Yeah.
you are the best.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I feel really good about this list right now.
Is there any debates that anything we should? Obviously, the top 3 Warriors teams, best team of all time, even given 2019 bail, 2024 easy. Raptors, they're there because they beat 2019. A tier solid.
I guess we could be a little bit more selective about S tier, and we could move Toronto down to A,
Mhm.
but that's about it.
Yeah, I guess if you want to do that, you could. No, that's kind of similar to the Pacers thing. If we're setting the precedent, we're okay with teams being below, even though they beat them. Then yeah, the Raptors aren't as good as the 2019 Warriors. But they won, so I don't feel terrible about it.
Yeah, they
Okay.
won, and all season that year too. It felt like they were gonna finally get over that hump. The quality and depth of that team, this Kawhi Leonard that year was genuinely one of the best players of all time, and everything around him as well. It just confirms to me like they legitimately are.
Yeah.
They're
Well-
5 out. They're 6, 7 deep. Is incomparable.
Well, to be fair, during that year, everyone thought the Bucks were going to make the finals. The Raptors were
Yeah.
kind of overlooked. Like people that knew what they're talking about
Yeah.
knew they were like a threat, but the Bucks were actually the favorites that year.
Yeah, exactly. And things changed a little bit in that season too, specifically in 2019, because mid-season, that's when they traded away Jonas Valanciunas and
Yeah.
made Marcus also thinks the
Yeah.
narrative switched towards the end of
True.
the year. For sure.
Yeah, I forgot
So-
that was a midseason acquisition.
Yeah, but the
And they
Bucks
got-
were
yeah.
up 2-0 though, and the Raptors walked them down.
Yeah, walked him down hard.
Yeah.
Got in that ass.
Muscles for no reason. Eric Bledsoe.
I forgot they had Eric Bledsoe still.
That's why
Damn it.
Eric. That's why they were so successful in building the wall. It's
Mhm.
like we could put everybody here. Eric Bledsoe is not going to make any shots. Like that is the reason why they went out and got Drew Holiday because Bledsoe could defend, as well as anybody, but you needed a little bit more offensive juice,
Yeah.
and Bledsoe just couldn't get it done.
Look at that. What a good tier list. I think we nailed this.
This is fun.
I don't even think there's really any debates, really. I feel like I guess you could say 2023 Nuggets might be A tier, but I don't feel too bad about this.
It's okay.
Yeah, 23 Nuggets can be very debatable, but overall, I feel really good about this as well.
Yeah. Cool.
And with that being said, that's the end of this episode of the second. I should say that's the end of the second section of this episode. I think I hear whispers. I think I hear.
You hear them too?
I think
hear
so.
the voices in your head. You hear the voices in your head as well. And the crown ears at home, they feel it tingling in their system. Raise them up, brother. My crayon brother. Let's move. It's TikTok time.
Welcome to TikTok time.
I'm crayonless. What the hell?
Oh, give him his crayon.
My bad.
Psych.
My bad.
His eyes
Stop.
gonna start twitching. He can't contain himself.
Exactly. My brain doesn't work full capacity unless I got a crown with me
Well, there
at
you
all
go.
times.
There
It's like
you
my
go.
vitamins.
You got
every
lost in
morning,
time
bro.
travel.
Exactly.
Well, the good thing for you is we're starting off with something the crayon eaters know and love, so you should be happy right now. We're once again going to begin with the draft. Today, we're going to begin by drafting players only drafted in the 2020s.
Okay.
So the last 5 NBA draft class, 2020, which is the Anthony Edwards draft class, all the way through 24, which is the Zachary Risache draft class.
Let's do
Your
it.
man's.
Yeah, your guy. So, yeah, you guys know. Point guard through center, we're going to build teams. The draft order is Donovan, me, Mo. Yeah, we know who you're taking already. Yeah, whatever. But, you know,
Call
know
Shams. Let him know. The pick is in.
Pick is in.
Pick is in.
Let's see who can build the best NBA team with the youngest stars in the NBA currently. Donovan, where are we going with the first pick?
Number 1 pick. I want the newly minted monk of the NBA. Give me Victor Wembanyama.
Okay, easy pick. Actually, I don't know if it is an easy pick. I'll take the best player right now. Give me Anthony Edwards.
Okay, now the draft really starts. You got
Yeah.
2 top 10 players out of the way already, and now this is where there's a semi-sizable gap.
Well, maybe.
So naturally, at my 1, give me Cade Cunningham,
Okay.
and then at my 4, give me J-Dub, one of the more versatile players that we've seen right now, and he's a fucking star.
Okay. Hey, listen, I mean, you're starting off with good positional size. I'm surprised you went J-Dub, though. Interesting.
I got to get him off the board. He just covers all potential questions that I have on my team.
Okay, give me the guy who's probably the best compliment to Ant I could imagine. Give me Tyrese Halliburton.
You got it. You got it.
Word?
What? Did I forget someone?
At my power forward, I would like Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, go for it. What
Yeah.
the? You think I'm dying over that? You can have him.
No, I
He
mean,
can barely hula hoop. You got him, bro.
first of all, Chet and Wemby at the 4-5 is nasty. I'm just shocked that because there was a guy, there was a guy that I thought that one of you guys would take, but you didn't. So
Yeah,
it's okay.
we're straight.
This is why.
Yeah, you want to go huge? Go for it. So you want to go huge? Go for it. I'll let you have it.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's so many options here. I'm fine.
I want to see him do what we know what he should do. We know what you're itching to do. Do it.
I want to.
That's your guy. Stand on it.
It doesn't.
You
it
think
doesn't
he's
fit.
taking a leap
It
next
doesn't.
year? Do it.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
Ah, you're a cop out.
It doesn't fit.
He don't believe in what he say. He's not 10 toes down.
I don't care. It's an all-star team. Give me Paolo Banchero at the 3.
Big and
I don't
muggy
care.
team.
All-star team, AAU team. That's what we're doing.
Give me Evan Mobley.
Oh shit.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I figured I'd get one of Paolo or Mobley. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next pick, sadly, but it's okay. Okay, so now I'm left at the 2, 3, and I
Where's
need
my
a
backcourt
5.
gonna be?
Which? Okay, so I need a wing. My team is pretty fucking balanced as fuck, bro. So
Yeah, you can go either way right now. You can do whatever you want.
Literally, I can. Okay, so right now, I think give me even more versatility at my 3. Give me Scotty Barnes.
Ooh, that's a good pick. Okay.
Yeah, give me Scotty Barnes at my 3, and then thinking about 2s out here who complement Cade, Scotty, and J-Dub. This is such a well balanced team right now. 23 draft. Ooh. At my 2, give me someone who's very underrated. Someone y'all probably not thinking about.
Okay.
Give me Tumani Kamara.
Okay.
A strap down defender.
He's not really a 2 type of defender, but you can have him.
Shit, bro. He's on the wing. My team is big as hell.
Yeah, your team is quite large. Give me an I just want to be athletic as hell around Tyrese Halliburton. Give me a Men Thompson at the 3.
Okay.
I like that. Listen,
You gotta have a good mix of role players and guys who need the ball in their hands.
Let's see. At my point guard, toe dependent, Darius Garland.
No, he's from 2019.
2019
19?
draft. Yep.
Mm.
Dang it. All right.
Dang
never
it,
mind.
dang it.
He's with Zion and
Shucks.
You thought.
oh, dude.
Well, you know what? I did say it's an all-star team. LaMelo Ball at the point guard position.
Ew. Oh man, he's playing nasty ball.
Listen, your team is having fun. I'll tell you that. Quite the fun team.
LaMelo. Who is gonna round this out? And then you know what? Glue guy stepping up right now.
Oh my god.
Nemhard?
Oh,
Is Nemhard 19?
What draft
he's
class
from
Nemhard?
2020. He's 2022, I believe, as well.
He's 22. Yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
Nemhard, glue
22
guy.
or 21,
The
so that's
only
good.
player in this thing that's like, you know what? You have a role.
Serious basketball.
Yeah.
Never.
Okay.
Okay.
Now my mind's going blank. I have not thought about another power forward. I don't know why. I was just listening to y'all talk. I was not thinking. 2021 was Mobley and them. 22.
Austin Reeves is right there.
Ooh, Austin Reeves would be fire.
Yeah.
He was not drafted though.
He wasn't
He
drafted.
wasn't, but it's his class.
Nah, he's not drafted.
What do you mean?
Why are you trying to
guess
give him Austin Reeves?
Do you see how big your team is and how versatile my team is? I want him to play into that trap.
He's also not taking Austin Reeves.
I'm not taking
to
Austin
play
Reeves.
forward.
I know. I kind of want.
Who do I
him to-
want to take here? I can go big and put another. You know what? Evan Mobley's a spacer now. Let me go large. Let me get a guy who's proven to be a good defender now. Give me Sengun. I'll put Mobley back at the 4. Mobley, we ever seen a Men and Sengun play off each other? Give me that.
Okay, that's not
I
bad.
kind of like that fit.
That's not bad. If Mobley takes he can do that.
That's not bad at all.
Mobley's gonna abuse Chet.
Yeah, right.
Mobley is better
right.
than him now.
Next year, Chet will hang. But right now,
Stop
those
it.
weak ass legs, those
Yeah.
those twig legs right now, post hip injury, gonna get in
Okay.
his ass.
We're going bone on bone.
Bone on bone.
Getting what?
No, Evan Mobley's strong now. Evan Mobley's thick.
All right. I got Cade, Tumani Kamara.
And we see what
Scotty
Sengun did to
Barnes,
Wemby
J-Dub.
What?
last year when he was a rookie. Give him 40.
There's a sizable
I was
gap
there.
now.
I was there.
You were. You seen what was saying?
Oh, did you see him drop like 40 or
Yeah,
something?
in person.
It's crazy.
I pulled up trying to watch Wemby, and I was like, "What is happening? This is the worst outcome possible."
And wasn't Wemby like 2 for 7?
Yeah,
the first
it
half
was
of
like
the-
It was one of the worst
games
games of his career.
Yeah. All right, so to round this out at my 5, fuck, I have to deal with Chet. I have to deal with Wemby, and then Paolo big ass. Mobley's there too, and Sengun. Give me Derek Lively. He's a good lob threat,
Peace
all
up.
around
for a
solid
second
defender.
For a second, your team was huge. Now you're
He's a
big.
center with great size.
You're right. He's big. He's the best you could do. But now I'm looking at these two.
Fuck want to do? Get Zach Edey or something like that?
I don't know. But we got 2 double big lineups, and you got. I guess Scotty Barnes to hold his own defending Mobley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scotty
Malcolm, you're
Barnes
good.
and
You're good.
Jada is straight.
Tumani
Plus
can guard
Tumani
Mobley.
and Cade.
Yeah.
All
You know what it
right.
is? Jada's basically your shooting guard. Tumani's your power forward. So like if you think about it that way defensively,
It's a Swiss
yeah.
Army knife, bro.
Yeah, it is. Okay, these are some stacked ass teams. Who won? Because Donovan has the most talent, but his team is bullshit. So I don't know.
I don't care. I don't care.
So for audio listeners, my team is Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Amen Thompson, Evan Mobley, and Alperen Sengun.
Okay, I got Cade Cunningham, Tumani Kamara, Scotty Barnes, J-Dub, and Derek Lively.
And I have LaMelo Ball. This is stupid.
LaMelo Ball, you know what you were doing too.
Yeah,
I love that you stood on
I told
it.
you it was all star. LaMelo Ball, Andrew Nemhard, Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, and then Wemby at center.
Your 3 through 5, I see the vision. It could be huge. If it was somebody that wasn't LaMelo Ball, if it was like, I don't know, if you had like a Amen Thompson there or Tyrese Halliburton there, like a more don't need the ball type of guy, I think I would see the vision. But LaMelo confuses me.
Mind you, this might be the best situation LaMelo has ever been in.
Facts.
And so if we start the season like this, we never build those bad habits. We get LaMelo Ball playing serious basketball.
Who would actually win in these games though? Maybe if Cade was like the idealized version of Cade, like a year and a half from now, I think Mo would win. But right now, there might be a lot on Cade's plate.
If Mo wins, his team is winning 80-79.
Facts.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Straight straps.
You know, if you had Mobley instead of Lively, I think you would be the best team.
Yeah, I wanted Mobley so bad.
Yeah, if you had Mobley, then I'd be like, oof.
Yeah, that was the biggest swing factor for sure. Because after Mobley, there's a steep drop off.
Yeah, maybe I should have took like a Lively instead of Sengun. One less guy needs a ball in his hands.
It's chalk. I think I win though.
This is tough.
This is actually a hard one. I'm like debating in my head the philosophies of team building here. But okay, you guys let us know who wins. As always, we want to see your opinion in the comments. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you some NBA teams, and you're going to have to guess who they are only by their Instagram followers.
Clout chasers.
Yeah,
Oh,
you got to
shit.
gauge the clout levels of these teams and see if we can identify who you're looking at.
All right.
Oh man, this is gonna be so weird.
I don't know. This might be easier. It might be really hard. I really don't know because there's some giveaways, some trends you can notice. But I think at first it might be a little difficult.
But there might be some weird stuff though as well into it. But I'm expecting the unexpected. Just
There's
know
also a
that.
lot of famous NBA players, so it's quite hard.
Okay.
Okay, first team. Who are you looking at? We got 5 million followers to the point guard. Everybody else sub 200K. He just giggled.
Sorry.
Come on, say it.
This team is ass.
This team sucks.
He said no motion.
5 million and then 160, 117.
5 million is insanely popular though.
Yeah. 5 million is a lot. 161, 117.
When I think about like teams that have IG famous point guards and then and everybody else is just like, yeah, he's an NBA player, so he has that clout. You're either gonna have the Charlotte Hornets, obviously, with LaMelo Ball, or you're gonna have the MVP at point guard.
MVP at point guard.
LaMelo has
Shit.
way more followers than 5 million. And I think
I also have no
J-Dub
bearing
and
in
Chet.
terms of like who's the ranking.
yeah.
So if you do think that LaMelo has
You're
way
on
more
the
than 5
same
million,
page. I
then
think this
is this the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Nah.
No?
Chet and J-Dub have more followers for
Yeah,
sure.
that's very few followers.
And then like Isaiah Hartenstein, like not Isaiah Hartenstein, but there's international play into this too. I think Lou Dort has definitely more than like
international play is a good point
165K.
to think about.
Yeah, I think this is the Atlanta Hawks because Trey definitely has 5 million followers. I
This
see
is
him
the Atlanta
yesterday.
Hawks.
He posted a picture of him with a do-rag. Why are you wearing a do-rag?
This is the Atlanta Hawks.
He's trying to lay it down. What do
Lay
you
what
mean?
down? It's almost over, buddy.
He said this team stinks. And I said, man, you know it better than I do. This team does stink.
Yeah, this is the Atlanta Hawks code. Just Trey and then a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, a bunch of young players that don't have big names. This is the Atlanta Hawks.
Damn.
So listen, you start off 1 for 1. Next up, which team is this?
All right, now we are talking.
10
Wow.
million followers to point guard. A smooth 600K for the power forward. and then some smaller guys.
Okay, so is this the Oklahoma City Thunder? Because this kind of feels a little bit more in line with what I was thinking then.
Yeah, this could be OKC or the Charlotte Hornets, but I probably lean towards OKC.
We're going to OKC.
Incorrect.
Damn.
Charlotte Hornets.
Correct.
Let's go.
It's one of these cloudy point guards. You got it.
Dude, who has... Is that Miles Bridges?
It is.
Damn.
Yuck. Yeah.
500?
That's nasty work.
LaMelo Ball, 10 million. That's insane. That's a huge number.
I actually thought it was more than that.
Where
Yeah.
does he rank in like...
Clouded?
Yeah, in terms of like... Obviously, like LeBron's one.
Well, you look,
Top
if you're
10.
talking 20 and under, probably number 2.
Yeah.
He's high.
Wow. Okay.
Teens, he's high. Okay, next team. Who is this?
Star wing duo.
And I got to pull it up now because I'm getting to forget.
Yeah, star wing duo.
See, I almost said
Their power forward has no
Boston
motion,
Celtics, but this is not Tatum and Brown because in what world would Derek White have 500,000 followers?
though. I mean, listen, Derek White. People like him. He's a Celtic, I guess. But like, again, 2 and 3 is...
Yeah, that's
it's
the
still,
biggest.
it's throwing me off.
That's the biggest thing that sticks out to me now. I'm not gonna lie, we are in hell.
But these are legitimate stars. And see, this is tough. If you think
I'll give you a
about-
hint.
please.
The center. The center is more notable than he is followed.
More notable than
So he has less followers than you would think. The center has less followers than you would think, given how good he is.
Okay, let's think about centers.
Okay, give it...
But the 2 and 3 being clouded, like
Never mind. Nah.
the 2 and 3 being clouded is the most famous players on this team. Like that's not a coincidence.
Okay.
Okay, so-
Centers.
okay.
These might be players you don't think about much anymore. Now that I think about it.
Okay, centers. I'm just rattling off names. It's not Alfred Sengun. No one like Jared Allen. It's definitely not the Memphis Grizzlies with Zach Edey.
Yeah.
It can't be.
It can't be that, like, 376 is not Embiid,
not Joel
obviously.
Embiid.
Jokic
No
is not,
Jokic.
it's not him.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're starting here, not the ones that have 3 and 2 million followers. That's a lot of followers.
It is, but I need to know the average NBA like thing. I need to know, like, are they like 12 through 20?
If you're in the
1 through
millions,
10?
you're probably an all-star, I think.
That's fair.
That's not always true, but I would assume you're probably a star player or you've been around for a long,
Can't
long
be
time.
the Indiana Pacers.
Because I think you can either be, you can have a lot of followers because you're really good and young, or you've been around for a long time.
Nah.
No, go ahead.
It's not the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Nope, not the Minnesota
Fuck.
Timberwolves. I don't know who 3.3 would be.
Who's the 3? Who's getting 3 million on the
Jaden
team?
McDaniels, the people love you.
You're right. I don't know.
This is the Sacramento Kings. That is Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, we're not gonna get this.
See, 376 feels right for the suburban. that's why. That's
Damn.
why.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think you'd be thinking about DeMar too hard, so that was a trick one. Next team.
Keegan Murray only has 100,000.
Keegan Murray.
He'll
I
run
got a
it.
spot for you.
Keegan Murray, start doing some day in my life. Be ready with me. Let's get your numbers up, man.
Who is this team? Led by a 4.4 million follower at center.
Ooh.
Wow.
Big number. Not too shabby around the board, though. You know, small forward,
It's
closing
not.
in on a mil. Point guard closing in on a mil.
Is this the Philadelphia 76ers?
This is not the Philadelphia 76ers.
No, you
Joan
would
B
think
probably
Paul
has more.
George has
Yeah.
over 1 million by
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I forgot Paul George.
By a
yeah.
lot. I don't know what he has. He has. I'm
You're
sure.
right. He's
multi-million.
Yeah.
The podcast P page probably
He's
has
probably
this.
closer to 10 mil.
Yeah. for sure.
He's probably actually above 10 mil. He's been around for a long time.
I think he probably has like.
That's
I don't
wild.
know. It's-
I'm going to say 12.
All right, anyways.
okay.
So centers who would have 4.4 are, I'm gonna just go here. Is this Jokic? Is this the Denver Nuggets?
You think Jokic is online like that?
Jokic
Hell no.
don't have an
Hell
Instagram
no.
actually. I watched some random podcast or some random interview.
I don't know what his brothers are doing.
Luca was like, "Brother, you should have an Instagram. I make so much money off of it."
Who said that?
Luka said that to Nikola Jokic. I think during
Oh.
the All Star game. Damn.
4.4 million.
Okay, 4.4 million. Let's think. This is a really
That
good
point guard and small forward combination. Notable online.
notably online.
Notable online.
Wow. See, at first I was
Wow,
like,
hell.
I was like, does De'Aaron Fox, is he like getting up there? And
Oh!
maybe Wemby. But I don't know.
Is
The 3 can't be. There's no way.
I'm going to tell you something. It's not the Spurs.
That's
Damn.
what I'm saying.
Damn.
It just can't be them.
It can't be. That'd be crazy. Harrison Barnes, clouded.
okay?
just
Not
can't
the
be them.
Spurs. Could this be?
You guys are struggling.
Oh
more than I
wait,
thought.
could this be the New York Knicks?
This is the New York
There we
Knicks. I was gonna say like that. This one should be pretty easy, I think.
Yeah, okay. Notably online, I'm looking at that 2 and that 3. I'm like, this has to be some goofball in it.
Josh Hart, almost 1 million followers. You know why?
Podcast.
Laker,
True.
Laker,
Yeah.
drafted by the Lakers. That's what it is. And then I'm surprised Brunson's not at 1 million yet, but he'll be getting there soon.
Shout out to OG. Almost 350.
Yeah, look at him pumping those
That's what I'm
numbers
saying. He don't do nothing. He doesn't do anything.
up. Next up, which team is this? Led by a power forward with 1.1 mil and nobody else
And
even
the center
close.
with 159.
Damn.
Damn. No motion.
Yo, this is actually really hard.
This is hard.
This is much harder
like,
than
this
I
is
thought.
off of just straight clout popularity.
Honestly, so I think it's this one. The jump shot one was also very, very tough.
Oh, we sucked at that, yeah.
Yeah. Those might have been the 2 toughest that we've done.
I don't know. I feel like y'all aren't thinking through this well enough. I feel like you can get a little more strategic with this.
Is this Zion Williamson in the Pelicans?
This is not Zion Williamson, the Pelicans, but you're
Damn.
obviously, it's power forward, so you're on the right lines.
Okay. It's not Zion. It's not Paulo Banchero. I don't think he has a mil.
Yes, it is. This is Paolo Banchero on the Orlando Magic.
Damn. All right, Paulo. Never mind.
You got to believe in yourself a little bit more.
Rule of thumb, if you're the number 1 pick, you probably have a lot of followers.
Yeah, he went to Duke too as well.
Yeah. This one should have been easy.
Okay.
Next up, which team is this?
2.4 million.
2.4 million at a shooting guard, point guard, and center. Most of
See?
the team has some motion.
I almost said this got to be Donovan Mitchell, but I'm like, Jared Allen, 700K? Where?
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah.
But
That would be hilarious. That would be like such a cool like plot twist.
Yeah.
Jared Allen's actually clouded. Lego Twitter is all over him.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way possible. Okay, so not
this is ridiculous. And I don't believe that this is the case. But the only thing that's coming to my mind is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh, it is them.
No, it is not. It's
That's
not
what I'm
the
saying.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
Because the only reason why I didn't believe it is because there's no way in hell Mike Conley has 600,000 IG
true.
followers.
He could. He's been around for a long time.
True.
I can see that. I mean, that's not crazy.
Nah.
When you see who this is, you could very well see Mike Conley having the same followers as the point guard.
Was
I
he
guess.
moving
Okay,
like
but
that?
okay, so the popular 2s though, it's
I remember, popular isn't
Oh.
always just because they're good.
Nah, never mind. I almost said this could be the Dallas Mavericks, but Anthony Davis has way more than 735K.
Yeah, he definitely has way more than that.
Zero chance.
But there's something in common there between the Mavericks and the team you just named. I mean, between the Mavericks and the team this is. There's a through line here that you're getting close.
are they, Texas maybe? No. Wait. Oh.
This is the Houston Rockets.
This is the Houston
Yeah.
Rockets. That's
There we go,
Jalen
there we go,
Green.
there we go.
Jalen Green is 2.4 million.
Pretty
Hey, you
privileged.
demon.
Wingstop commercials, man.
Yeah.
They get you.
Okay.
And Sengun's at 700K. Listen, all of Turkey follows him.
That is true.
That's fair.
The entire
Fred
country.
VanVleet got 628K.
Because all of Canada follows him because he won the championship.
All right.
Yep. Next up, which team is this? Famous center, famous point guard. 4.4 mil at center.
Oh,
That shooting guard has no motion.
now ooh.
Shooting guard has negative motion.
I was gonna say this should be the Dallas Mavericks, but it's not. Anthony Davis is way more than 4.4. Is it Dallas Mavericks?
Nope.
Fuck. Yeah, of course. Kyrie definitely has way more as well.
Oh, I'm sure Kyrie has 20 mil.
Yeah. Okay.
What the hell?
Again, should not be difficult.
Yeah.
Brother.
That three is almost at a mil too.
That's what I'm saying. 1, 3, 1, 3, 5 are all clouded.
Ignore the 3.
Ignore the 3.
Ignore the 3. There's 2 people with 1 million followers here. Who could that be? Famous duo. 2 famous people.
1 and 5. Okay. So let's think about the better 1 and 5.
I will say you said this team's name already during this segment at some point.
I've said
You said a lot of teams.
I've
I
said
know.
a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I think I've said 66% of the league. by now.
Probably. That's a specific ass number too.
Okay.
I had to come up with a fancy way to say 20. there's that.
Let's break this down.
Break it down. Break it down. Is this
So
the
it's not
Philadelphia
no one.
76ers?
It is not the
No,
Philadelphia
it's
76ers.
not the Philadelphia 76ers. For 2 seconds, oh no, this can't be the Los Angeles Clippers. Damn sure not the Lakers as well. No one in Golden State. I'm thinking about I'm knocking out all the Western Conference teams right now.
4.4 million at center.
Yeah.
That's a lot of followers for a center.
It's either
Jokic, Joel Embiid.
it's either
There's-
it's not not Jokic, not Embiid.
Okay, not
The
Jokic,
other
not Embiid,
clouded
not
centers.
Anthony
Who
Davis.
are we forgetting?
Oh, this is San Antonio Spurs.
Yes, this
There
is
we
the
go.
San Antonio
Yeah,
Spurs. Put your
yeah.
thinking caps on.
Yeah, there we go.
Next team. Who is this? Led by a 2 and a 3, both incredibly famous. Oh, and a 4. This team is clouded.
Jesus. 13. Oh, wow.
This has to be 13.6.
That's a lot of followers.
Ridiculous.
Is this the Phoenix Suns?
This is the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. Makes
Booker,
sense.
5.6. Beal, 1.2. Kevin Durant, 13.6.
See, the 1.2 for Beal threw me off a little bit because I'm like, this man don't start no more. He's on the bench.
Yeah, at center, we got Nick Richards just being
Just
there. Just there. Respectable. Next team, led by a point guard. Power forward's almost at a mil. Don't sleep on him. But the point guard is a famous player here.
Okay. This point guard runs this shit.
Facts. The Oklahoma City Thunder.
This is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I've been
Okay.
waiting. I've just been waiting.
You've been itching.
Okay,
Everywhere
yeah.
you look, you see Thunder.
Please.
Okay.
This is them.
Shout out to Chet. Almost had a mil. Wow.
Facts. Look at you. Almost there. Round of applause for Chet Holmgren. Next up. Which team is this?
40K.
Talk about.
Do we have more followers than this guy?
That does not say 20K.
That says
20K and
20K.
40K. Damn. 34K.
You have no motion. You have no motion.
You barely exist.
Oh, damn. Okay, who's one of the
Straight-
worst teams in the league?
Straight brown shirts.
I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets.
Nope, not the. There's a 2.2 mil there, by the way.
Oh, this is the Washington Wizards.
Who do you think 2.2 is?
Jordan Poole, probably.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 20K. The 20K is a bit of a cheat code. It's Champagne, whose account is private.
Oh, okay.
So, he doesn't want the public to follow him. And then point guard, we got Bub Carrington.
Damn.
Power forward, Keyshawn George. So the young guys just got in the
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
And they played on a team that nobody watched this year. But okay, that's the last one. I'm glad you guys got that one. 'Cause I thought that was one of the harder ones.
Yeah, no, that was
That
kind of
was
easy
tough.
because
That was tough.
it was screaming like trash. Not trash, but obviously.
Yeah, that was hard because you would think like, oh, star shooting guard carrying a team? No, he's
Yeah.
just real famous. He just
Yeah.
played in Golden State.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, though. Next thing we're going to do. Mo, I believe you have something for us about pre-draft comparisons.
Yes, I do. This is something that we've done in the past plenty of times before. We're gonna go ahead and look back a little bit in the past. I have a slew of players for you guys, and I want you guys to guess the NBA player by their pre-draft comparisons. This is a combination of two players combined to make one. I want you to guess who this player is based off of these two.
Gotcha. So it's before they were taken, and all the players that the media was comparing him to say they have shades of so-and-so in their game.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I really want you to mix two players and really imagine who this could be.
Okay.
Vince Carter and Magic Johnson.
If that's not LeBron James,
That sounds like
if
LeBron.
that's not LeBron James, I don't know who
He had an
this is.
immediate stank face. He's like, God damn, this is the GOAT. I'm imagining it right now.
If Magic could jump like Vince Carter, that's the GOAT. And what do you know? LeBron James is obviously the answer.
It has
The
to
GOAT. It is LeBron James. Congratulations.
There we go. That one's clear as day.
Yo, ESPN was cooking back in the day when they were trying to guess what LeBron would be.
I'm
not
not
gonna
gonna
lie.
be so nasty.
I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of audacity to call the rookie that, and they
Yeah.
got it right.
Yeah.
Shout out whoever said that.
Next up, we got Dwayne Wade and Lance Stevenson.
So good,
Very different players.
good player, annoying as hell.
Yeah, so a slasher, they probably say, has some defensive chops, can put his hand in the dirt, slap the ground.
Yeah, exactly. But the range is so wildly wide.
Yeah.
Like, you're either a top 20-ish player of all time or you're Lance Stevenson.
I mean, I see Dwayne Wade. Is it Anthony Edwards?
No, not
Okay.
not D Wade.
Donovan
This is a
Mitchell?
good, really
Is it-
good guess,
yeah,
though.
Donovan
yeah, is it
Mitchell?
D. Mitch?
No, it's not D Mitch. You,
Okay.
Like, really get closer to Lance Stevenson.
Okay.
He is not, I will say, he is not an all-star.
Okay, so Lance Stevenson, but with hops, but with athleticism.
Not an all-star. Is he playing today?
He is playing today, yes.
But just barely. Is he old? That he sounds like?
Like, things are not looking bright for sure. I'm not saying he's old, but
Oh,
things are not
okay.
looking bright.
Okay. Someone who flamed out. Somebody that's a really annoying player.
Yeah.
But he had a Dwayne Wade type ceiling, or is this just play style?
That's what people saw in college. I will say, like, his
Okay.
play style in the NBA is nothing like D Wade.
Was this Victor Oladipo?
No.
No.
This is not Victor Oladipo.
Okay, but it's probably a similar type of flame out considering the pick. Obviously, Oladipo good year. Shouldn't call him a flame out. But, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
guessing it's a high pick that didn't pan out.
High pick didn't pan out. I will
It's
say
not RJ Barrett, is it?
it's after 2010. Not RJ Barrett, no.
Tyreek
After
Evans?
2010.
No,
That's
Lance
it.
Stevenson. No, yeah, it can't be that.
You're getting a little bit closer, but it's not Tyreek Evans.
I need to see a list of years, like a draft classes.
Yeah.
This one's hard. Okay, I give up. Who is
I
this?
will Marcus Smart.
Oh,
Wow.
They compared him to
Marcus
D
Smart.
Wade. I was never
Yes.
gonna get there.
Marcus Smart. He would, I will say his college tape, if you're just looking at raw highlights, impressive.
No, man. Who said this?
He was never a burner like that. He
Who
wasn't
said
fast. Like,
ESPN said it, not me, man.
that's ridiculous. I feel cheated by the game.
Next up, we got Carmelo Anthony and Chris Bosh.
Carmelo Banchero.
Yeah.
Ooh, no. You guys said that way too. Not
Evan Mobley.
No.
Okay.
Carmelo Anthony and Chris Bosh. This is so simple to me.
It's so simple to you. Okay.
Carmelo Anthony's a pure bucket.
So
Chris
it's
Bosh is just
a
big
pure,
and got
yeah,
size.
Chris Bosh isn't a pure bucket, so that makes it hard. I'm guessing it's somebody that's like the size of Chris
Mind you,
Bosh.
he was a bucket though.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, for
not
sure.
a pure bucket in the sense. So I'm guessing it's someone who is the size of Chris Bosh. He's a big man that can shoot, but he has like a face-up game.
Yeah.
It's not Wemby,
No, not Wemby.
but it's like it sounds like a player like that size.
Don't lie to me. This is Paolo Banchero.
No, it's not Paulo.
Is this
It's not
Kevin
Paolo.
Durant?
No, it's not KD. Good guess though.
Ooh,
It's not KD.
that felt like Kevin Durant.
But you are like on the nose. Like think of the
Chet
worst
Holmgren.
version of KD. No, not Chet.
Oh.
The worst version of KD.
Brandon Ingram,
No, way worse than Brandon Ingram too.
Amani Bates.
Bull,
No, not Bobo, not that bad.
the worst version.
He was
Oh wait, Michael Porter Jr.
no, not Michael
What?
Porter Jr.
He's closer to Imani Bates than Michael Porter Jr.
This is
worst-
so hard. He's better than Imani Bates for sure. He's better than Imani Bates.
The worst.
He was
version-
drafted around the same time KD was.
Oh,
So pre 2010.
Michael Beasley.
Yes.
Okay.
Michael Beasley.
Okay.
He's big, left-handed, can give you abundance of buckets too.
See,
It's Mike Beasley.
Carmelo Anthony, I understand. The Chris Bosh thing threw me the fuck off.
Yeah.
But okay, that makes sense.
All right.
So
next
basically,
up.
Paolo Banchero before Paolo Banchero.
That's damning.
No, but Paolo, worked out. But listen, college Beasley was supposed to be what Paolo Banchero was.
Different, man.
That's one of the best college prospects ever.
And now he's over 1v1ing in the TNC league.
And you know what? He's cooking. He's killing it there.
Everybody got a path. It's beautiful. Next up, we got Boris Diaw and Jared Dudley.
Oh, hell.
Now you have to think.
Don't be too disrespectful.
I'm not, but so the way that like if you see a white player, you know it's gonna be another white player. You just saw with Chris Bosh. You see him, lefty. Boris Diaw, international,
French.
right? French guy. Who's the French Jared Dudley?
Now, I will say you're headed towards the wrong direction. Take
Damn.
out nationality.
Wait, take out what?
Nationality. He's not.
Okay, so Jared Dudley, you'd only
Just think
say
about
that.
straight game archetype.
You'd only say Jared Dudley if he's a good defender and has some length to him, a wing defender. And you'd only say Boris Diaw if he could pass a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So it has to be someone, Scotty Barnes.
No, not Scotty Barnes.
Ooh. I'm thinking that type of player. I'm thinking the type of like a point forward, Swiss Army knife type of guy. But he can't be too fast. So I think like Denny Avdia, but he's probably too fast for
Yeah,
that.
he's not. He's too athletic.
Yeah, not Denny.
Yeah, these are both some.
You guys are getting warmer though. I will say this
It's
player.
very.
These are both some
Yes.
unconventionally athletic looking guys.
like who is like
under the rim hoopers.
Under the rim for sure.
who is
Wow.
like the poster boy of this
Of round players in the modern era.
generation? You said round players.
I did.
He's not round. He's not round.
But he
Nah,
is
he's not round.
unathletic.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will quote.
He's not bouncy. He's not bouncy.
Yeah, he's not bouncy at all. No, he doesn't play above the rim at all.
And he's this generation. Current player.
He's drafted
Yes.
like
He is like
post 2017.
no, he was drafted after 2017.
After.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
post.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Cool.
Okay. I was like, what? Jared, this is tough because it's got to be a wing size player. And I only see Boris Diaw comps when it's like a power forward.
So a power forward.
You are correct. It is a power forward.
Okay, it is a power forward that can pass a little bit.
Pass a little-
It's not
Who-
Sengun.
Who
So
are these
it's-
forwards out here? He-in.
Oh, why am I blanking? Let me pull up NBA
He
team.
is like the definition of this. He's a poster boy of this era. For
He's
sure.
a poster boy of this era of power forwards that can pass the ball. What?
What are you talking about?
He's a
Oh.
poster boy.
This is
Famous.
tough. Josh Hart?
He was an all-star.
He was an all-star
Yep.
as a power forward who can pass. This should be easy then. I should know
Yeah,
this.
you guys are in hell. You guys are gonna hate yourselves, dude.
Ben Simmons.
Nope, not Ben Simmons.
I give up. Who is this player?
Give up.
I give up.
Draymond Green.
Oh,
yeah.
obviously.
Draymond Green.
You know what? That's a damn good comparison too.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Jared Dudley. Back then, Draymond Green used to shoot like 38% from the 3-point line, bro. He wasn't a sniper. Like
No, but
that,
he did
was
have
efficient.
a little bit of
First of
on-ball
all,
game.
he was drafted way before 2017.
Yeah, I know.
You told us after.
I said he was drafted before 17.
No.
Run
No.
the taste back. He did
No,
not say that.
I asked you, was he drafted post 2017?
You said no after.
You said no.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, okay. So I was like-
steered you guys the wrong way completely.
I
Whoops.
was thinking straight modern players.
right.
Oh, this guy's old as fuck. But okay, that's a good comparison though. Maybe I would have got there without the help, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Next player. T-Mac and Dirk.
Kevin Durant.
Damn.
Don't even say any more
Easiest thing
words.
ever.
That
All
is
right.
clearly Kevin
That's
Durant.
disgusting.
Somebody with the size of Dirk and the shooting touch, but the
Yeah.
pure bag of T-Mac, that can only be one player.
This comparison is just so brain breaking, bro, and it only makes sense to be Kevin Durant.
It's apt. He lived up to it.
Exactly. Next up, we got Kobe Bryant and Nick Young.
you could either be the best shot chucker ever or the worst shot chucker.
Sounds like Cam Thomas to me.
Somebody compared Cam Thomas to Kobe Bryant before the draft. I would not. I would throw a baseball at them.
Not a bad guess. It's not Cam Thomas though.
But so this shades of Kobe
He
Bryant.
was drafted after 2010.
Yeah, shades of Devin Booker.
No.
No, people weren't going to realize the Kobe comp because Devin Booker was overlooked. You have to be a high pick to get shades of Kobe comp.
He was indeed a high
You
pick.
got to be top 5 at least. To get shades of Nick Young, you got to have some shooting audacity to you. That means you can be a
Exactly.
gunner. If it doesn't work out, you will be a high volume shooter if you're a role player. It's not Anthony Edwards. Nobody compare him to Kobe. It's probably
Okay.
a 2 guard.
You got warm. You got warm.
It's with the ant. He's one with Anthony Edwards.
No, my description. He's probably so spoiler alert, he's closer to Nick Young than he is to Kobe Bryant.
Probably.
I'm sure. So who was a modern day Nick Young shot chucker that had star upside but ended up being more of a role player who shoots a lot?
His career did not pan out at all.
When did he retire?
I couldn't tell you, dude. Like, I couldn't tell you. I think the last time I seen him play an NBA game was maybe like 2020 or 2019.
2020, 2019. So this must be
His career flamed out.
so this must be an early 2010s pick maybe or mid 2010s.
Yep, it was a early 2010s pick.
So 2011.
Dion Waiters.
I will say he played in the Western. He got drafted by a team in the Western Conference.
It's not Deion Waiters.
No.
Damn.
Same.
The
He's
only-
worse than Deion Waiters, actually.
He's worse than Dion.
Yeah, I don't think you guys are gonna get this. He was drafted as a Minnesota Timberwolf.
as a Minnesota Timberwolf.
Johnny Flynn. I don't know.
Nope, Shabazz Muhammad.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think of Shabazz Muhammad when I hear the name Kobe
Wow.
Bryant.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn. These are tough today.
I know. Mike Bibby and Steve Nash.
Okay. Shades of Trae Young.
Close, but no.
Not Luka Doncic. It's going to be a small white probably. And it's not Reed Shepard, is it? Is that a trick?
No, not Reed Shepard.
Okay.
No, not Reed
Okay,
Shepard.
small
wish.
white point guard.
So close to Trae Young is probably going to be a small white. You know, I sense a pattern.
Yeah, but the small whites, even like with Trae Young,
Darius Garland?
No.
No, if it's Mike Bibby, he's probably not. You probably only put Mike Bibby to say he's not the best shooter, I think.
No, not necessarily.
Not more of a slasher than a shooter?
It was in his game, and this report here specifically called it out. And I don't think it's the best comparison, but it was a comparison made.
To Mike Bibby?
Yes.
Okay, so it's probably more Steve Nash like. Obviously, Darius Garland was compared to Steve Nash. Trae Young compared to Steve Nash. It's obviously a guard along that line. Is it Tyrese Halliburton?
No, it's not Tyrese
Okay, not Tyrese Halliburton. Another passer.
thinking about I'm trying to think about all the young.
It's not
guards
Luka,
who-
right?
Don't
Too big.
only fixate on the passing. Of course, like Steve Nash is one of the greatest of all time, but don't only fixate on the passing.
So it's more of a shooting guard.
Yeah, what,
Point guard
what
that
should- What
shoots?
should we fixate on?
Shooting, I guess.
Fucking Damian Lillard.
Close.
Close to Dame.
Yeah.
Kyrie.
No.
Damn.
Colder.
Kemba.
No.
Damn.
Colder.
Max.
Way colder. Way colder. Way
Damn.
colder.
Close to Dame. Okay.
Yeah.
Close
You're hot
to-
when it comes to Dame.
Close to Damian Lillard. Is it of that age group?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a peer of Damian Lillard that probably plays like Damian Lillard.
That's very rare.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them. That's why
We're in rare air right now.
I think of Kyrie. I think of Kemba, of people of that age
There are
demographic.
rare names. Rare names.
Rare names.
Rare
Yeah.
names. So it's
Much
just
like-
better than Kyrie and Kemba.
Much better?
Yep. Much better.
much better than Kyrie and Kemba.
Yep. The current eaters are screaming through the screen right now.
Is it James Harden?
No,
What the fuck?
not James Harden. Close though.
What?
It's not Russ.
Closer to Dame than James Harden for sure.
Closer to Dame than
It's
okay.
not Russ. It's not. What the?
Closer. So he's closer to Dame, much
Yes.
better than Kyrie,
Yes.
but closer to Dame.
That's a weird
Okay.
space to
Ignore that
operate.
because I
Yeah.
think that's confusing.
Yeah.
Ignore the much better than Kyrie part.
But again, if we're still just talking about peers of Damian Lillard in that time frame,
hmm
like all the guards in the mid.
Is this Steph Curry?
Steph Curry. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, much better than Kyrie.
See, he said closer to Dame than James Harden. That's a ridiculous thing to say. That makes it so difficult.
I'm just thinking about like positionally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even then, that makes it difficult as fuck.
I don't like this game.
That makes you think he's worse than Harden. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know what they were cooking with Mike Bibby, but obviously as a prospect, Curry wasn't Curry, so I guess it probably made more sense.
What
Then.
was the Mike
They
Bibby
didn't-
count?
What was the Mike Bibby?
Yeah,
count?
like what they say about
The way he moved wasn't that fast.
it was more so like exactly not the most explosive athlete.
Yeah, okay, I guess I can see
crafty.
that at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not the worst comp.
Next, we got Andre Iguodala and Garrett Wallace.
This is a goon. This is a musclehead. This is a defender. Slaps the ground.
Yes, you're right. Fucking defender.
Yeah.
Drafted as that first.
Lou Dort.
That's honestly a fantastic comparison.
Drafted as a
Straight
defender.
muscle.
You said draft as that first, so did he expand off of that?
He didn't really expand off on much.
what year was he drafted?
Give us a 5-year period.
Yeah.
Anytime between 2010 and 2015.
Okay. Justice Winslow.
No.
Ooh.
Good
That's-
guess.
that's-
You're
that's
along the
good.
same lines. Though.
Okay.
You're really
Joshua
close.
Jackson.
Yeah.
No.
Damn.
That's you're on the line when it comes
Ooh,
to just
it-
failed prospects.
Josh Jackson.
Josh
Who are other
Jackson.
wings that we thought was going to be the one?
Yeah.
It can't be.
Jarrett Culver.
No, not Jared Culver.
Mr.
Nope, that's
Bennett?
2019. Who? Nope, not Anthony Bennett.
It's not Cam Reddish. That's for damn sure.
Mm-mm.
Defender. Someone who's supposed to be a lockdown. But if they put Iggy, so they could do a little bit with the ball in their hands was the goal for a ceiling.
Yeah, man, that's just his Winslow.
But that, yeah. Just,
I will say he was
Yeah.
a top 3 pick.
top 3 pick.
Yeah. Top 3 pick.
these 2010 drafts. I don't know.
I know it.
Top 3 off the top of my
Off
head.
the top of your head is tough.
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness, 2014.
Josh Jackson, we were
is-
close.
Who's the 2014 draft?
Wiggins.
It's Wiggins.
It's just Jabari Parker. No, Jabari Parker wasn't a defender.
Not Jabari Parker.
and it was
2013 draft.
He is.
that's Bennett.
Yes, Bennett.
That's Bennett Oladipo.
Oh, is this Michael Kidd Gilchrist?
Yes. Michael Gilchrist. So wildly far off. Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
Man.
No words.
We don't have anything to say about him at all.
Sorry, man.
Tough scene. Next, we got David Thompson and Jerry West.
Michael Jordan.
Woo, that's smooth. Yeah, this is two old
Yep,
ass
yep,
players. So,
I knew- yeah.
how can you compare someone like Michael
Two
Jordan?
grandpas. I knew it had to be an old
Damn,
player.
yeah. Michael
And
Jordan.
honestly, if you're an 80s prospect and they compare you to Jerry West,
Yeah.
they think you're the fucking one. They think you are going to be him. And
Yep.
it worked out.
and they're right. You got that on the money. Good job. Next, we got Larry Johnson and Paul Millsap.
Zion Williamson.
You are close. It's
Blake
not
Griffin.
Zion, though. No, it's that position. Your
Paolo
position, you're
Banchero.
correct. No, not Paulo.
Okay, so it's a thick 4.
Yep.
You're not comparing him to Larry Johnson. They're not thick. A thick 4. Paul Millsap. So they're not that fast. Zion's too fast. You don't get Paul Millsap comparison if you're quick.
No, but I mean, but the athlete part of it just comes in with Larry Johnson.
It's not Blake.
You get a little bit of the mid range game with Paul Millsap.
And Paul Millsap is like that. That's a modern comp. You're not like post. You got to be post 2015 to get a Paul Millsap comp.
Exactly.
It's post 2010. I'll say that.
Okay, so it's between 2010 2015.
Yep. You're correct.
Context clues.
Yep.
Okay. Paul Millsap and Larry
He thought he had a
Johnson.
little jumper to his game, but also he was big and just felt imposing.
Big and felt imposing.
This
Is
is
this
like-
Jabari Parker?
Whoa! No.
Ah, damn.
Larry,
It's not Anthony Davis. He's too big.
but if you, okay,
But Jabari Parker's a good comparison. Though.
Is this
Good
Anthony
comparison.
Bennett?
Yes, it is. He worse. I said, whoa. Someone said Bill
Yeah,
Simmons
yeah.
always said that. Yeah.
giving Larry Johnson to Anthony Bennett was so disrespectful.
So damning.
He was not that athletic. He wasn't that much of a. I mean, he was like thick. So I guess they said muscles.
I mean, if you watch his first like 5-minute tape of Summer League, you're like, hey man,
hey man, Larry Johnson was explosive. He was
I know.
rising in the air.
yeah, speedy meatball.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah, no, that's what I call him. Next, we got Manu Ginobili and Paul Pierce.
lefty.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lefty.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say Luka Doncic.
It's not a bad comparison
Listen,
at all.
Paul Pierce body type, but Manu Kraft. That's Luka
Yeah.
Doncic right there.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's along those lines.
Yep.
James Harden.
You got it.
There we
Easy.
go. There
You
we
got
go.
it.
Listen, we struggled in the beginning, but
Yeah.
sometimes things come together.
James Harden himself like compared himself to James. He compared himself to Manu Ginobili and Paul Pierce. He was
Yeah,
like,
that makes
I
sense.
play like them too.
Yeah,
which
big-
is so weird.
Big body Manu. That makes total sense.
Yeah, it's so rare to see a player be so honest with himself like that.
Yeah.
Next, we got Anthony Tolliver and Jared Dudley again.
Everywhere we look, Jared Dudley.
I know.
Jared Dudley.
This range and tier player as well.
Eric Pascal.
I got you guys in hell.
Eric
no.
Pascal.
No. I won't do you guys like that.
Anthony Tolliver's crazy.
What do you mean you won't do it? Anthony Tolliver's on the screen.
He's a great player. What do you mean? We're
He's
teaching
cool.
history right now.
He had some good years.
He was ahead of his time.
He had some good years for the Timberwolves, right? I think he had some good years for them.
Yeah, he had good years on the Timberwolves and the Blazers.
Anthony Tolliver, just the ultimate role player. Ultimate.
If you're getting Anthony
Ultimate
Tolliver
guy.
comparisons, you're probably like an early stage stretch 4.
I actually don't remember when he was drafted at all.
Yeah,
Maurice
get that info.
Al Farouk Aminu.
No. He's not a defender.
Was that a throw
Not
grade
a
out there?
defender. Yeah. Not,
Then why'd they give him Jared Dudley? What the hell? So again, he's
Think
also,
about like an older stage of Jared Dudley.
so clearly he's bad bodied a little bit.
Mhm.
That's probably part of it.
Bad
body.
Bad bodied. He can shoot.
Bad body bucket.
A bad body who can shoot.
Wow.
That could be a lot of players.
Yep.
Nikola
It is.
Mirotic, I don't know.
Georges Niang.
Yes. That's a great. Georges Niang. You guys are just focused on body shaming. Why is that the
Yeah.
Listen, it
It's
never
my first
steers
one.
us wrong.
It's my first
God
one.
damn. Congratulations.
That's your
Okay.
first one.
Yeah. By body shaming. What type of dude are you, man?
I've been going, just picking my spots. You've been carrying this
Georges
whole time.
Niang.
When you watch this back, I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, wow, he didn't say anything. He was quiet.
He's twirling his fucking thumbs, and then I say, "Pick a bad little bitch," and he's like, "Georges Niang."
Fatty. Georges Niang. Damn.
Oh.
Oh my God. Okay. Next we got James Harden and Gilbert Arenas.
Okay, so James Harden,
Killian Hayes.
No, not Killian Hayes.
it should be a lefty. It's gonna be kind of modern.
Not lefty.
What?
It is modern though.
Damian Lillard. Oh, it's
No,
modern.
Yeah.
Darius
It is
Garland.
modern. No, not Darius Garland.
Ooh, wait a
Nah,
minute.
he's too
Okay,
small. For
so
this
obviously he's an off the dribble shooter. That's what
Yes.
he's profiled as.
And it was post 2015. I'll say
And he's
that.
a big body.
Mm-hmm. Was looked at as super dynamic guard.
But I don't. It's not Anthony Edwards, because if it was, they'd pick somebody bouncy.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he was athletic. It's not. You said it's not lefty, so it's not RJ Barrett. Super dynamic guard, and he's got to be. He's got to be kind of big. You wouldn't get a comparison to this if you're below
yeah,
6'2".
you're like 6'4", 6'5".
You're absolutely right. He is a little big. He got some size.
D'Angelo Russell.
No, not D'Lo.
Ooh.
Good God, no.
Did I say Luka Doncic?
You did not, and it's not Luka.
Okay.
That good God.
I know that was kind of disrespectful.
Then this was hard. Dynamic guard.
Yeah,
Post 2015.
Again, you don't get James Harden comps unless you're a top pick. So he's got to be top 10 at least.
yeah. He was viewed as like the next like generational guard.
Cade Cunningham?
Not Cade. You are getting a little closer.
Oh. If he's the next generational guard,
Yeah,
like
drafted before 2020.
generational guard drafted before 2020. It's not John Morant, 2019.
Nope.
2018, it's not Trey or Luka.
Mm-mm.
2017, is this Lonzo Ball?
No.
Markelle Fultz.
Yes, hot
This
as
is-
hell.
This
Yes.
is Markelle Fultz.
What a tragedy.
Yeah,
What a
man. You know what?
tragedy.
It wouldn't have been a bad comp either. The Gilbert Arenas ceiling was in reach.
Yeah, man. Can you believe he was fighting for his life, fighting for a job this year, bro?
Yeah, the Sixers should be arrested for their crimes.
The Sixers or the motorcycle incident, whatever it is, it's a damn shame.
They traded Jason Tatum for Markelle Fultz.
Sheesh.
Sad.
Sheesh.
Next, we got Chuck Hayes and Metal World Peace.
Yo,
Get the fuck out of my face.
Shout out Chuck Hayes.
So, Isaiah Stewart.
No, good guess.
That's
You're along.
That's fair.
You're along-ish the lines.
That's
he
fair.
is positionally similar to Metal World
Mark.
Peace. though.
Oh, Montrezl Harrell.
No,
Oh,
he's a 3. He's a 3.
He's a 3.
where does this Chuck Hayes thing come into the equation?
He's just a rebounder.
He can do that. He can do that, and he's somewhat of a enforcer. He's in the league today, still too, barely, but he's still in.
James Johnson.
No, you're like on the line of just like what type of players could you pick up for a mill who can just like give you a
PJ
cool-
Tucker.
No, you're on the line.
Okay.
Though. You're close. You're
Ah.
close.
Who are these veteran locker room present enforcers?
The threes? He's
Threes. So he's an old guy.
He's an
Mhm.
old 3. I'm trying to go through every team in my head and it's not working right now.
This is tough. So he's an enforcer. So he's known. He's probably in the headlines for.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, if he's old, all he's there for is muscle.
Yeah, muscle and whatever's left of shooting that he can provide.
So think of the PJ Tucker type. So it sounds like we're describing PJ Tucker to a
Exactly.
fucking
It
T.
is.
Who are the other PJ? Is he on the Miami Heat? I bet he's on the Miami Heat.
no, he's not on the Miami Heat. Actually,
Has
he's in
he
the
ever-
Western. Currently, he's in the Western Conference, but the last time he was like semi-relevant was in the East.
Mm.
Currently,
Mhm.
he's in the West. So he's just chilling. He's just collecting checks right now.
Yeah, he's selling collecting checks.
DeAndre
playing
Jordan
fake
type
basketball.
vibes.
Yeah,
All right. So Western Conference, Lakers don't have.
Trevor Reese is retired, right?
Trevor Ariza, yeah, he's retired. He's retired.
Yeah, Trevor Ariza's
You're
out of
along
here.
the lines, though.
Let's
I
think
know.
about who has
I understand the lines I'm along. I completely see it.
Enforcers like the Lakers don't have one, Clippers don't have one,
You're
Blazers.
thinking of these teams. He probably didn't play much this year.
Yeah, exactly. Think about like the worst team in that side.
Worst team in the West would be
One of the worst
it's like the Pelicans.
in that Laker region.
Kings.
Mm-hmm.
Who's an enforcer on the Kings?
How much Kings basketball did you watch this year?
Hey man, who is this?
Jay Crowder.
That picture looks insane.
Yo, that's why the comparisons are there, man. This is probably the first time you've seen Jay Crowder all year.
I can't recall him in a Kings jersey.
Boss Man 99.
That picture looks crazy.
You're being celebrated
Those
today.
sleeves do not compliment him well.
Hey man, shout out to him, man.
Yeah.
He's out here feeding his family.
Exactly.
Shout
Getting
out-
checks.
Jay Crowder had some good years, man.
Yeah, he was a really good player.
We need more Jay Crowders in the league.
I agree. And that's it.
And that's the last one.
You guys did horrendous.
We did okay. There's a lot of names. It was a mixed bag. Next thing we're going to
Range is
do.
crazy. From LeBron James to
Yeah, that was quite the array of players.
I know.
The next thing we're going to do, I'm going to tell you an NBA player, and you have to guess where the Ringer ranked them in their top 100 players of 2025.
All right.
They updated this list like 2 weeks ago. So it's like during the playoffs with all the reactions of the playoff basketball in mind, you tell me where you think they ranked this player.
Are you agenda ready?
I am.
Let's push them.
Always
Yeah, always. Okay, first name, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
have to have him no less than 3.
Mm.
They might have him too. I think they have him too.
Yes, I think they would have Jokic 1, Shea 2.
That's exactly what they have. Jokic
Yeah.
is 1, Shea is at 2.
Makes sense.
And then they have Giannis at 3.
Yeah,
That would make sense.
Makes
for them.
sense.
And that's obviously a debate. I mean, Giannis, like many people will just like default to Giannis because he's a better two-way player and he's Giannis, one of the best players of all time. I don't think it's crazy to put Shea above him, but like that's a real hard debate. I don't know where I fall.
it is. I think if you had this conversation last postseason, given like everything that Shea was doing, I know he went out in the second round, but he was still hooping, and you hadn't seen Giannis in the playoffs for 2 years. That's fine. Giannis came in, team sucked, but Giannis was like, I'm getting mine.
Killed the Pacers.
Right, I'm scoring 40 tonight.
The only thing that makes it hard is because Giannis isn't quite the defender he once was, but the defensive ecosystem is also kind of trash now. So hard to gauge, like, if you put him on a team with great defenders, if you get back to DPOY level or not. But I don't think he is that level defender, so I think going to Shea isn't crazy.
Give him a Chet Holmgren and see what happens.
Exactly, literally. Okay, so that one's easy. We started there. You know where the agendas are going. Next player, Tyrese Halliburton.
They updated this list 2 weeks ago.
I'll tell you exactly. They updated it.
That'll swing everything.
They actually updated it 4 days ago.
Ooh.
Oh no, my bad. I'm looking at the wrong number. June 4th. So yeah, 15 days ago.
Okay.
Okay,
So this
So-
is post. He hit all his game winners. This is
But
post.
this was before game
This
one,
is-
right?
Yes.
but still 3-game winners in the playoffs, just knocked off. He can't be anything lower than 15.
I think he's 11.
I'm going 13.
13, 11. So you guys think he's pushing top 10?
Yeah. For the Ringer, absolutely.
Well, you ask the Ringer. He's number 7.
Whoo! Damn.
Number 7 in the world right now. One above Donovan Mitchell at 8, which I also think is quite generous for D Mitch.
What?
That's
D.
what
Mitch
D Mitch 8's
number
crazy.
8?
That's generous.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson at 9. So Halliburton right above Jalen Brunson, which isn't insane. I think it's a bit much. It's a bit,
The D Mitch at 8 over Brunson is what this whole thing.
like,
If you
so
moved it
take-
down like
yeah.
5
Yeah.
5 tiers or 5 like paces or whatever,
Yeah.
and we're talking about like 11, 12, 13 or something like
Yeah.
that, then it would feel a little bit better. Halliburton at 7 is
so I'm guessing
too
they're
much.
indexing more to people that did stuff in the playoffs, and like people that didn't make the playoffs are getting pushed
Clearly.
down, which to me isn't like logically consistent. But if that's what you're gonna do for the playoffs, he's the 7th best player in the world. That makes sense, I suppose.
Sure.
A weird way of gauging the best players in the world. I think it's like a useless way to gauge it. But if that's what you're gonna do, I suppose I see the logic.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards is 6. Steph is 5.
Okay, that would make sense.
So again, they're glazing a little bit.
There's a clear tier. I can understand their standard.
But I do think what y'all said, 11, 13, like I'm ready to say Tyrese on that level.
I think that's fine.
Wow.
I'll probably rank him at 12 and if when we do our list in December. Jason Tatum.
Damn.
Well, okay, so
He got hurt. He had a really good first round series.
There's no way a Bill Simmons led company is having Tatum outside the top 15. We'll go 15.
You think he
15 is damn. Why you put him so low?
Yeah, 15 is kind of low.
15 is crazy low for the. We all think he's top 5 or top 6 at least.
just because of injury.
I think he might
But
be
if
4.
If they're not doing injury, then I'll go with you.
Yeah,
at 4.
it's a wild range.
He's number 10.
Damn. Yeah.
Which
Okay.
again, he just
Okay.
got hurt. So clearly they're reacting to the playoffs, and it's like they're doing this like you earned your spot in the playoffs. And Tatum obviously got hurt, so he couldn't earn it. Still, nobody thinks Donovan Mitchell is better than Jason Tatum.
No one thinks Tyrese Halliburton's better than Jason.
no one
Like,
thinks that. Nobody believes that shit. It's a bit much.
Okay, what a way to gauge players.
Yeah, again, but we understand what they're going for. The thing they're doing, I see it. Think it's bullshit.
So what have you done for me recently?
Anthony Edwards. Oh, I already showed you Anthony Edwards.
Damn.
I'm gonna show you too much. Jalen Williams.
Ooh, he had a lot of lows.
But
And
the game 7 that he had going into the finals, that could raise the perception of him.
I think he's 19 or 17.
I'll go 17.
Yeah.
17. You guys are just a little bit too low. He's ranked at number 20.
Ooh.
Which honestly fair.
Oh, no, so we're too high.
Yeah. Too low of a number. Yeah, I said that wrong. A little bit too high. He's number 20. And
Okay.
you know what? I feel like this is fair.
That's
Jalen
kind
Brown's
of the
21. I've been saying for years, since last year, I've been called the Glazer because I said I think he'll be better than Jalen Brown, or about, the verbiage I've used is about the same quality of player Jalen Brown, and I'd rather have J-Dub for small reasons. Them next to each other makes sense to me.
That's as fair as it gets. Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay.
Yeah, he is the it's like the perfect
Yeah.
version of second option wing that can do two-way stuff for you. That's him. That's Jalen Brown.
After game 5, if he's not top 12 to these guys after game 5, their whole ranking is.
Oh man, they're gonna update it and give him number 6.
Exactly.
Okay, Paolo Banchero.
Okay. Had a very strong first round series.
Kind of. He had a big points per game number, but the efficiency was quite bad.
We don't care about that. 15.
But do the Ringer care about that?
Probably.
15.
Oh man, I think the Ringer might.
Is he better? Do you think that they think that he's better than the J-Dub, or is like
I
you
think
you
they
get
might.
finals tax and finals push
They're gonna. I think they might shit on him. They might say he's 25.
20? We'll go 22.
He is exactly number 22 on this list.
Whew. Okay.
Which I mean, again, they're heavily indexing on the playoffs. That makes sense to me. He wasn't efficient that first round. He played a tough defense, had to get a lot of shots up. It was not super pretty, but he got his numbers.
It's
22
It's a little bit too much playoff indexing for me.
That's his whole list, man.
But all right,
But even then, I think we ranked him around here
we
in
got
our
it.
last list.
But like, and I get it.
I see Pascal Siakam there. I'm just like he should be way higher than
Yeah,
23. Absolutely.
Hmm.
So this whole list is just invalid.
but
to me,
also we're doing playoff indexing. They had Steph at 5, and he missed the whole second round basically.
yeah, I mean,
yeah, you're right. And it's super inconsistent considering like Tatum was where he was 10
Yeah,
and he missed like
Whack.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, that's going to be a good debate all summer, especially if the Thunder win, which by the time we're recording this before game 6, so maybe the Thunder have already won. J-Dub versus Paolo for this year alone is a pretty interesting debate because obviously one's a first option, which everybody in NBA discourse says first option automatically makes you better, automatically makes you top 15 or whatever, whereas J-Dub is not that, but he's closer to being amazing at his role than Paolo is at his role right now, So like that's a quintessential debate that you're going to hear all summer.
Next year, when it comes to again list of players who have a lot of pressure on them, Paolo Banchero is towards the top of that
Yeah,
list.
I think it's not crazy to say J-Dub's been better like right now in the playoffs, but Paolo, we all think Paolo will be better.
Yeah.
So I think most people just project that what we know Paolo will be to what he is now. But I think 22 is fine for now.
Yeah.
But next year, he's going to be top 15 next year for sure. Assuming growth. Okay, next name, Trae Young.
Oh, they hate these. They hate
Yeah.
this guy.
Famously,
they
the Ringer hates Trae Young.
much.
he's
I don't know, 40,
he's below, I'm going
67.
38.
He's 33. They don't hate him as much as you
Wow.
think.
Okay.
John Morant's 34, though. They're right next to each other.
That's disrespectful to Trae Young.
Oh wow,
That's
really?
disrespectful to Trae Young.
You think
To be
33
next
is
to
disrespectful?
John Morant, you think John Morant's that much worse?
I think
No, you don't. Come on.
I think Trae Young should be spots ahead of John Morant.
32 is Bam. 31 is Sabonis. So the next
That's
your,
disrespectful to all of them. Having Sabonis at 31.
well, keep in mind, there's a lot of good players on the NBA, so I feel like this isn't that crazy.
No.
Like I think when we did our top 30, I think we either left Trae Young off or put him like right into it.
After this year, me and my index after June 4th, I'm putting Trae Young several spots ahead of John Morant.
Okay.
And how I currently feel about both of them.
Interesting. Even though John Morant had the good strong end to the season when they fired dude.
Yeah, I think I still like Trae Young a little bit more.
Yeah, considering the injuries, I can understand it. With how your mindset is when it comes to
Oh, true. If you get hurt,
are you there or are you not there?
Yeah. If you get injured, Donovan wants you dead.
Yeah.
Next up, John Morant already revealed it to you.
Yeah.
Alperen Sengun.
This is interesting. He had a strong playoff run to me, but
He showed he
was
can hang in the playoffs for sure.
He did 28.
I think he was 26.
You guys are doing a little too much. Too much to play chip.
42.
36.
Damn, nah, I can't have him 36 and Sengun and what's his name?
Sabonis?
Up there. Nah.
I mean, I don't think
Nah.
36 is insane. Maybe Sabonis should be like 34. He should probably be below Ja.
Listen, he got packed up in the first round. He had a couple bad games to close it out. Like it wasn't the greatest showing.
Yeah.
by Sengun. Like that's fine.
It's completely
That's okay.
fine. Him being below Ja and Trey is completely fine.
Okay.
No, he showed he can hang defensively is what I meant. He's no longer a defensive liability.
Yeah.
But, we still got to see him have his best offensive season and his best defensive season at the same time. So another guy like Paolo that I think we can assume he'll be pretty high next year, but 36 is fine for this year, I think.
If you can get the combo of those two, I mean that's top 20. Like
There's a lot of good players in the league, but yeah.
You're
it's-
pushing it if you can get that from him.
I think that's top 26, 27.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's top 30 for sure. But to get to top 20, he has to develop like a real strong 3, I think. I think he has to be a stretch 5 for him to be top 20 level. Just because, he is way better defensively, he's not like Wemby. It's not going to be ever like a game-changing thing. LaMelo Ball.
Man,
You want to talk about some hate?
divisive.
Divisive as hell.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling. I can't even find him. Oh, I found him.
Oh, shit.
I mean, yeah, if LaMelo's not in the 40s, he's either
John
40 or
Morant
50.
was what?
34.
34.
So he has to be much lower than that.
I would say like 44 for LaMelo
50.
Ball.
Ooh, Mo is very close.
Damn.
He is 49.
Wow.
Jalen Johnson is right above him.
Yeah. All right.
Now, that's a
wow.
disgusting debate. Who you taking, Jalen Johnson or LaMelo Ball? Nobody's ever said those words before.
I know.
But like,
the
that's,
first person in human history.
that's gonna sound disgusting to a lot of people. But I don't think it's crazy for this year.
It's not crazy at all, considering all the things that Jalen Johnson does do. But also, they're both super injury prone, so they
Yeah.
belong in this tier of just like.
But also, if we free LaMelo and put him in a better position, he'll be higher than 49. That's for damn sure.
Mhm.
He can get to top 35 at the least, even if you're lower on him. Like I've kind of been a little jaded towards LaMelo this year, where I'm like questioning if the ceiling is quite as high as I once did. Maybe I'm not ever gonna say he's gonna be top 25 or whatever the number is. He can damn sure be top 35.
Yeah, next season I believe in my mind is LaMelo's like last chance to be like stamped as like an elite level NBA player, unless he does some like crazy shit and has a insane second half of his career turnaround or whatever. But for now, it's looking steep. He's been in the league for like 5 years now, bro. So far,
Yeah.
5 years and none to show for it.
I don't know what we call that. Good sample size.
Yeah,
Zach LaVine.
70. I don't know.
70.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach LaVine, but like, yeah, I'm going 68.
Hold on, I can't find him. Oh, okay.
He's been scrolling for dumb long.
That's what I'm saying.
88.
He's 68.
Damn.
How did you get that right?
Come on, man.
He's been scrolling for dumb long. Holy shit.
DeMar. This is just lazy. They said DeMar LaVine.
Yeah.
60 something.
Yeah.
Put them right next to each other.
You know what? That's fair too, though. That's very fair.
I don't know if DeMar is better than LaVine. That's a
I'd
tough
rather
one.
have Levine than.
But clearly, they both think they're like mid-tier starters.
Yeah. Damn. Zach
Oh,
Levine
man.
just got shipped over there to die.
Sacramento Kings.
It's crazy because he had a great year in the Bulls. He was shot making was
He
crazy.
was.
Went to the Kings. Nobody cared anymore.
They really made
If it
Bulls
was
West.
only for
Joel
that damn
Embiid.
contract. Ooh.
92.
What the hell? Not where
92.
you would rank him. The ringer.
I'm just saying, like, he hasn't played all year long. It's clearly indexed towards the playoffs. He
Yeah.
hasn't participated in these playoffs. He played a very, again, limited amount of games. I'm going 92.
45.
84.
Dude, how do you know everything? He's 84.
Yo, he works for the ringer
Let's
now.
go.
That's what you be doing on his off time. You made
Let's
this
go.
right here. You put him there. What the hell?
84, like at this point, you're just hating. Either don't put him on your list at all or engage him when he's on the court. There's no way you think when he's on the court, there's 83 players better. You know how I know you don't believe that?
I like these guys, man.
You know how I know you don't believe that shit? Because Christian Brown is the 83.
Oh, hell no. That's
At that point, just don't rank Joel Embiid. Like, what are we talking
At
about?
that point, just
82 is DeAndre Hunter.
it just keeps on getting worse. What the fuck?
Hey, shut the fuck up.
Just getting 81? I gotta shut up for real.
Josh.
Oh my god,
It keeps getting worse.
dude.
The higher you get, it keeps getting worse.
Josh fucking hard.
No, I believe this.
No, you don't.
I believe this.
Such a stupid
Oh
ass.
my god, what the fuck? Lou Dort legitimately gets
Wait,
worse,
Lou
dude.
Dort better than Josh Hart?
Oh my god.
I guess.
Lou Dort probably is
I
better than
guess.
Josh Hart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh my god, bro.
But yeah, like, what are we talking about? Just don't rank Joel Embiid.
Yeah, this is
Just
not
don't
right.
even try.
That's funny.
That honestly, this reason is why whenever we do our rankings, I don't account for injury at all.
Yeah.
Because you have to like, the logic makes no sense. It's so just like vibes based. Like, you get hurt a lot. I like you better than Nasri. Sure. Like, it's so random to just decide where that line is. Don't rank them.
Nah, do it.
Not like this.
Do
Man.
it.
It does nothing for you. Paul George.
It does a
man.
lot for me.
He might be like 97.
I'm going 98. Yeah, I'll go with you. 97 for Paul George.
Hey, I can't find Paul George.
He's scrolling forever.
Okay.
His wrist hurting.
Number 90.
Yeah.
Damn.
above him?
Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah.
Oh, Paul George. This is the conversations. Oh, Torrey East. Oh, no.
Tari East not gonna understand.
He's amazing. I love him.
Paul George, you are in Peyton Pritchard conversations now. What the hell is going on?
Boston's we have Curry at home. Oh my goodness.
Oh, man. They thought they were cooking with that.
That's insane. And that's the last one. Guess who's number 100 on the list? The last player.
The last player, I was going to say Derek White.
I'll let you know this. Jalen Green is 98.
Jalen Green is 98. Okay.
Bradley Beal.
Hey, it's Bradley Beal.
What the fuck?
You know what's funny? Donovan sucks at like every game today, except for this one. He knows everything.
What the hell?
You said Jalen Green. I just started thinking about evolution.
Yeah.
Who's a little bit worse than Jalen Green? That Bradley Beal is still better than Jalen Green. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
He's the one where it's so clear. Bradley Beal is like everybody recognizes the talent. The Suns don't like him. The fans don't like him. Media doesn't like him. But it's like he could still score, I guess.
I guess.
That's crazy.
You could
man.
be on the list.
Yeah, you can be on the list. Number 99 is Jordan Poole.
All right, that makes sense.
Jalen Duren, 97. Herb Jones, 96. Come on.
He didn't play for real.
He was
Hello?
hurt all year.
What's why put him on the list?
Tumani,
Respect.
Mitch.
Okay.
Mitch
Dylan.
didn't play this year though.
Vucevic is so random.
Hey, man, don't look for logic in this list. It's crazy. But okay, that's the end of that. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go over to hoopgoat.com. Site we like to frequent to play mini games. They have a lot of mini games, the type of stuff we do in our videos. We're going to play their start, bench, cut game.
Please.
You guys know how this works. 3 players, got to pick which one to start, which one to bench, which one to cut. Interesting. First off, we got Chris Webber, Victor Wembanyama, and Sean Kemp.
These are very different names. We're
Very.
going.
I'm cutting Sean Kemp, I think.
Yes, we're
Easy.
doing that, and we're also only because I'm here to push agendas. We're starting Wemby. We're benching Chris Webber, and then we're going.
Should we bench Wemby just because he's so young and hasn't gotten to like his peak yet? Whereas we've seen these other guys make all NBA teams. But Wemby's Wemby, so I feel fine benching him and not cutting him. Like he's the best defender here by fucking far already
With that
Exactly.
skill alone, I'd want to start him.
because he's the best defender.
Yeah, and also the best shooter here too. I'd want to keep him.
You know he could have been on All NBA pace this year if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest swing factor.
Okay, but do we want to? Okay, so let's say we'll start Wemby just because we're young and stupid and we like to have our players on the list. Chris Webber or Sean Kemp? Obviously, athletic anomaly or the guy that can be more of a offensive hub.
Chris Webber.
Yeah, I'm
Chris
taking
Webber?
Chris Webber.
Okay, hey, listen, he's been MVP ballots. I don't know if Sean Kemp has. I can't remember. 48% of people agree with us.
That's how you operate.
And listen,
how you
that's
move.
because a lot of young people are voting on this list as well. I feel like we maybe should have started Chris Webber, but you can't go wrong.
Nah,
starting
we're
Wemby.
okay.
Okay.
We did the right thing.
Okay, fair enough. Jason Tatum, Kawhi Leonard, Ray Allen. Ray Allen, I'm sorry.
Getting cut the fastest way.
Appreciate you. You're a legend of the game, one of the best shooters of all time. You are cut.
You're getting cut like an umbilical cord.
Are we
Jason-
doing right now or peak?
Well, Ray Allen's not in the league right now, so we got to go peak.
Peak Kawhi.
Not a conversation. This is quite simple.
Yeah,
All right.
it's super simple.
Starting Kawhi, Jason Tatum, welcome to the bench. 54% of people agree with us.
I can understand why
We're
you
men of the
want
people.
to start Jason Tatum because of longevity reasons or whatever, but he just tore his Achilles and God knows what he's going to look like.
I can't understand it whatsoever if you want to start Jason Tatum above Kawhi Leonard. There's zero part of me that understands where you're coming from.
Yeah, Kawhi's a machine. One of the most efficient players ever from everywhere on the court.
Yeah, we can pick multiple versions of Kawhi of different forms that are better than best version of Jason Tatum.
I agree.
We can go 2017 where he's or 2016 where he's the DPOY and he's a great two-way player. We can go 2019 where he's the crazy shot maker. 2021 where he was playmaking. He has variations of himself, and I'm picking over Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Darren Williams, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Halliburton.
This is very, very interesting.
Interesting. Cade's getting cut.
Easy.
That part's clear. All great players. Cade's getting cut.
Easy.
Now, this Tyrese run makes
That's
it
what I'm saying.
difficult.
You really do have to give Tyrese credit because to get to a finals is very, very hard.
And to get to a finals after making a conference finals
But these are real.
and an IST finals, people forget that.
Oh my God. You're right. God damn it.
All he does is win.
Tyrese start, Darren Williams cut.
Damn.
Shout out Darren Williams, man. But yeah, I mean that doesn't feel too bad to say.
Yeah.
Obviously, Darren Williams has the benefit of his career being over, so he has a stacked accolades that Tyrese isn't there yet. But I don't think it's great to say this year's Tyrese is
Side
better.
conversation. Who do you think is Darren Williams' modern day comparison?
Cade Cunningham.
Yeah,
Low-key.
probably.
Low-key,
Probably.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Pascal Siakam, Jermaine O'Neal, Lamar Odom.
Lamar, stay out.
Lamar,
Stay
cut.
outta here.
Sorry, appreciate you. One of the best All-Stars never make an All-Star game.
Before your time.
One of the best players never make an All-Star game. You're great. We got 2 All-Stars on the list.
This is super easy.
Yeah, this is obvious. Pascal Siakam's the best player here.
Easily.
Shout out Jermaine O'Neal. Shout out. That's the end of the sentence.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Also, that picture in the middle looks like Mo when he was bald. That looks exactly
does.
like Mo. Yeah, Siakam is different. Different level of two-way player.
Yeah.
Ooh, Chet Holmgren, Porzingis, or Brooke Lopez.
That is
White,
the
white.
exact order.
Yeah, this is so simple. A couple years ago, Brooke, you would have had a good argument. Right now, you move
It's
like my
looking-
grandpa, cut, KP,
It's looking like
bench.
family man time.
Yeah.
Wait.
Chet, start.
Yeah. The only conversations like, would you rather have Brooke over someone like KP? Maybe.
Apparently, the conversation for people is KP versus Chet. 35% of people went with
That's
KP.
crazy. That's insane.
That's pure like reputation.
KP was damn near unplayable for the entirety of the playoffs.
Yeah,
At least
that's-
in the second round.
People are a year behind on where KP should be talked about. Evan Mobley, Bam Adebayo, Alperen Sengun.
Again, it might
Once again,
be
1,
the
2,
same
3.
order.
Light him up.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley is just broken into different talks this year. This guy is going to be in like top 15 players in the league talks pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
Bam, you know,
Listen, we knew last summer that was kind of the last summer that we were gonna have conversations about Bam being like a top 3 center, top 4 center.
With the way he started off the year too,
so bad.
decimated his
So,
PR.
so does that, with that being said, is it a debate between Sengun and and Bam for bench?
No, I still think I would take Bam because I
Yeah.
still think even if they're not the best player, having a player like Bam on your team, especially at the 5, would be more beneficial to more teams than not.
I agree.
Okay, Bam on the bench, Sengun cut.
The defense moves me.
38% of people agree with us.
Damn.
I mean, of course, we're right.
Yeah, simple as that. Jason Kidd, Russell Westbrook, or Steve Nash?
All right, so who's getting cut? Woo.
I'll keep my opinion on myself.
Okay, so
No, I won't. Russell Westbrook's getting cut. I'm sorry.
Woo.
Or Jason Kidd. If you want to go talent, I understand the argument for Russ. If you're just like he's better at more things.
we can all agree that Steve Nash is getting started. That's super common.
I mean, Jason Kidd versus Steve Nash is a debate, I suppose, for some people. I'm fine saying Steve Nash
I'm
should be
taking
started.
Steve Nash.
We'll go Steve Nash.
Okay.
We'll go Steve Nash.
No.
I don't know if I 100% believe that like every time, but 2 MVPs is 2 MVPs as
Yeah.
well. Like I do want to give him that.
I think so. Kidd is an interesting one because obviously we know how we feel about Russ and the downsides of his game and how that makes it, hard to win at the highest level compared to players that are as good as him. If Kidd was in the modern NBA, maybe he'd have similar issues. Also, not the strongest shooter. Higher IQ scorer though, so maybe he wouldn't be quite as he wouldn't be as in love with threes as Russ has been.
Yeah.
No.
But there's an argument for Russ, I guess. I don't want to dismiss Russ entirely.
It's not like it's like you said, the talent argument would go to Russ. Production
But
wise,
even then, Jason Kidd's talented.
carrying teams to,
Yeah, the ceiling
to
is just
finals,
naturally.
Yeah, Jason. The teams Jason Kidd took to the finals weren't stacked. They were good teams. Not to say he was carrying bullshit, but it was like
Yeah.
he was the engine.
That's tough. This is so hard.
for the purpose of team building, let's bench Jason Kidd because he's most similar to Steve Nash and the offense can run similar.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And we
then
will cut Russell Westbrook and he can go on to another team and do his thing.
6% of people agree with you.
Yeah, wow.
Wow.
Wait, 6. I don't. That number's messed up. 35. When?
No.
Oh, almost nobody voted this way.
Wow.
Oh, interesting. So most people put Steve Nash, Russell Westbrook, Jason Kidd. The second most people put Russ on top. But most people, 75% of people put Jason Kidd last. I think the youth forgets about Jason Kidd. They know about Steve Nash because of the double MVP, so they have to respect that. I don't think they remember Jason Kidd.
Not those early years,
man.
especially. You're
Yeah.
correct. When you think about Jason Kidd, they think about, like, I guess 2011 and those Knicks years.
People aren't thinking about the 2001 finals? Or the 2002 finals?
No.
Unbelievable. That's the year, right? It was 2002?
Yeah. 2002 and 2003.
Yeah. Casey Wallace, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Hart.
Such a random ass.
What?
This is fun. I'm starting Casey Wallace. I want that defender off the bench that can hit a corner 3. If Josh Hart was a consistent shooter, he would be started. But I feel better about Casey in that way.
I agree. Tim Hardaway Jr., you belong on the bench.
On the bench?
Wait.
Oh,
no,
my
no,
bad. He's getting cut. He's getting cut.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't got to disrespect Josh Hart that much.
Nah.
And obviously, most people
8%?
most people
What?
put Josh Hart first because he's Josh Hart. He's a famous
Okay.
guy. They don't know about Casey Wallace like that.
Okay.
Wow. 8%.
I'm happy no one started Tim Hardaway. That's it.
Yeah, but this is correct. I'm not going to lie. I understand the Russell Westbrook one. You can disagree. I understand the viewpoint there.
I think it'll
This one's ridiculous.
I think it'll be fine if you wanted to start Josh Hart for like playmaking purposes and rebounding purposes too. But the shooting for me just
It really does depend
your
on
team.
your team construction.
I think let's think about the Knicks. If they swapped out Casey Wallace to Josh Hart, would they get better?
I think they would get
I don't
worse.
They get 5-out spacing. They get a better defender
Yeah, they get a better defender.
and a better shooter. He can cut. He can run in transition. He just can't pass. He just can't dribble. And like it's not like you really want Josh Hart doing that anyways for the Knicks.
He does push the pace.
He does. It's valuable.
And he dies for every ball.
He does.
Will Casey Wallace do that?
Yeah,
Probably.
He has some heart too. But then, that is debatable, I suppose. Ooh, Larry Hughes, Franz Wagner, Bradley Beal.
Larry Hughes.
Shout out Larry Hughes. You made an All-Star game. I do not know why you're in the conversation. Actually, Franz
Larry
isn't an
Hughes
All-Star.
could-
Yeah, Franz isn't an All-Star. So let me not disrespect Larry Hughes.
Wow, this is such a random
Yeah,
assortment
like-
of players.
Does peak Bradley Beal get started?
We could do
What's
that.
peak Bradley Beal?
I mean,
when he
he's-
averaged 30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it's still hard to do. It's still hard to do. And that was a couple years ago where it was still respectable a
okay.
little bit.
We could start him.
We'll start Bradley Beal. Franz. Listen,
this is
man,
a
that
Larry Hughes
18% is loud.
Early season Franz, man, we ranked him as a top 30 player. He was on top of the world, and then his 3-point shot fell off again. Struggled to be a second option again because of that. I want to bench him, but I don't know. Larry Hughes is a one-time All-Star, I think. So it's not like he's like bona fide.
It's not like Franz is bona fide either.
All right, fuck it. We'll cut Franz, start Larry Hughes. Bench Larry Hughes. I don't really give a fuck about that one. Paul Millsap, Domantas Sabonis, Andre Kirilenko.
I'm
Millie.
starting Kirilenko.
Paul
Millsap,
Millsap had several good years for Atlanta that you
He
cannot
did.
forget
He
about.
did.
Paul Millsap. Kirilenko was like one of the best role players of all time. Did he sneak into a couple All-Star games? I can't remember.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. Paul Millsap did. He was like a good passing hub, can score in the post.
Overall,
we can
he was
defender.
a good defender as well. He,
Yeah.
We can do that. Like I would start Kirilenko, but if you guys want to start Millsap,
Kirilenko is a one-time All-Star, 2004.
I just know that on our team, Sabonis is getting cut.
oh, for sure.
All right. We'll bench Kirilenko, cut Domantas Sabonis. 0% of people agree with
What
you.
the fuck? That's hilarious.
This one's super split.
That's
Wow.
hilarious.
There's no
though.
consensus here. Obviously, people are going to put Sabonis first because points, rebounds, assists. They love him. I understand that. But yeah, if you're trying to build a serious contender, you need a defender at that position. I'm very honestly, I mean, Sabonis is way more talented than Kirilenko, so I guess that's not crazy. We are being disrespectful to some extent. But I don't feel that bad about it.
I don't feel bad either.
I don't feel that bad at
I'm
all.
just happy Paul Millsap's space is solidified.
Okay. Let's do one more of these games. Why not? Let's do a blind tier list.
All right.
We're just on Hoop Go having a good time at this point.
Yeah.
We're just vibing. Okay. So you guys know how this works. We got a blind tier list. Got to put 1, 2, 3, and 4 players across these tiers. Don't know the category. First name.
Last time we did this, we got. Oh, the chat did this actually.
Chad did this. Yeah.
And they got screwed.
First name. Patrick Ewing.
Tier 2 or 3.
We're starting off with legends,
Yeah.
and so it's like, it's very random, and I have no idea who's coming next.
I
But
think tier 3 is safe.
Tier 3 is probably comfortable.
yeah, let's go 3.
Maybe we'll regret it when I put him tier 2, but that's fine. We can live with that. Shaq.
Don't
Fuck.
feel bad. Let's go 2.
Just hold out in case like a top 5 player of all time
if,
around here.
if Magic or Larry's here, I feel good.
And I will say these are 2 big men so far, so it might be best bigs of all time.
I can.
Hold out for Kareem or Hakeem
Yeah.
There's a couple.
or Wilt. Maybe we can feel okay about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Damian Lillard. Okay, it is not big
I
man.
feel good. We
Dame
can-
next to Patrick Ewing. I feel completely fine about that.
Just
Yeah.
the guard version of Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, they're both one of the better players that couldn't accomplish anything because their peers are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
there
right.
you go. Luka Doncic.
Well, fuck.
Um,
This is awkward.
not Shaq level. He's better than Dame, but you can probably put him on Dame's level, right?
You can
He's-
put him
he's
on
on
Dame
that-
levels for now, yeah, but this could really bite us in the ass if you don't utilize that last tier.
Yeah, tier 4. It's going to be tough.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I'm already starting right. There we go.
Perfect.
Tier,
Tier
4.
four.
That's
Needed
helpful.
that. Needed that.
Needed that. Blake Griffin. Needed
Tier
that.
4.
Tier 4.
We're back in it.
We're back in it. Chris Paul.
Ah.
I
Last
almost
time
said
we got
another
fucked,
one.
we put Chris Paul too high. Do you want to put him next to Shaq or put him tier 4? Where tier 4 is too
Tier
low.
4. Let's put him tier 4.
Tier 4 is too low.
But tier 2 is too high.
But if it's tier 2, we could live with that. He's better than Dame, better than Patrick Ewing.
But tier 2 is like GOAT level.
Tier 1's GOAT level, maybe. Maybe Shaq's a little too
We
low.
have to go to it. It would be to put Chris in the tier with Blake Griffin and Amari rather than Shaq.
We're choosing to fuck
That's what I'm
ourselves.
saying.
Yeah. And if we go tier 2, there's a chance it works. If we go tier 4, it's obviously bad.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but I don't like either option. Larry Bird.
This is why I didn't like that. God damn it.
Whoa.
Ah, man.
man. Tier
I
1.
feel- ugh.
Tier 1.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Scotty Barnes. Obviously tier 4. D Rose tier 4. Look at that. Chris Paul, you
We
should
got
have been tier 2. We nailed it perfectly.
We did it.
All right.
Shout out, man. I think we did this
This
exactly
is the
right.
best one that we've ever done.
I wouldn't tweak anything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
we're good.
As of now, yeah, Chris Paul definitely deserves to be tier 2.
there's no debates here at all.
Yeah.
I guess you could debate Shaq versus Bird if you'd like, but I'm fine with this.
Yeah. Wow. Not even that, too, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right,
I like
cool.
this.
Well,
did
yeah, the debate for me was Luka versus Chris Paul.
Mhm.
If you're going at their peak, that's fair. It's a debate.
Yeah. That's the only thing. But outside of that, I'm cool.
Yeah. And that's like a debate that, like, you can't get mad at saying Chris Paul's better, you know?
Yeah, no, I
So-
don't hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucas' career is still pending. So
Look at that. We nailed it.
Again, I don't even know how I fully feel about that combo. I haven't mentally had that combo.
Yeah, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
I mean, now off the top of my head, I do think Luka will pass him up by the time his career is over. Just because, like, the pace
Naturally.
he's on.
but if he was to go on the same trajectory that he went on like last year, I don't know. It's hard.
If he's cooked,
I think he's still gonna. He may end up surpassing Chris Paul just because of all the legendary moments and the numbers. But
he has 5 first-team All-NBA. Is a lot.
yeah,
Chris Paul is also 12 times All-NBA. So it's a pretty high bar.
But to have 5 at this point, already have a finals appearance.
You're pacing.
has Chris Paul? Yeah, Chris Paul been to the finals.
Yeah, in
once.
21.
Yeah,
Blew it too early.
you remember when you said he had an addiction to going to the finals?
And we cured him. Love to see it. Fighting addiction one day at a time. With that being said, if you're still here, comment. We're beating addiction. Comment, we cured Chris Paul. Comment that.
Yeah.
Tell you we cured Chris Paul.
We hear Chris.
Still here. Check out TD3 Summer merch. You know, you guys see it. Check the link in our description. The top line is our merch link. Go to it. Click the tab that says TD3 Summer Collection. Check it out. There's some cool stuff on there. Yeah, man.
Drip or drown.
I'll see y'all later.